the National Football League. Today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the San Francisco 49ers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Candlestick Park, San Francisco. Try 68 degrees on, a 5 or 10 mile an hour wind out of the northwest, no factor, and 61,000 plus that love their San Francisco 49ers. I'm Tom Brookshire, along with Wayne Walker. Wayne, John McKay's team comes in. They must like home cooking. They're 0-6 on the road, all AstroTurf fields they've lost their games on, but they're probably a better football team than that and should be a better opponent than probably look like on paper. Huh?
Oh, I think so. They've lost several close games, Tom, and those are confidence destroyers. They said that their season's been in 3 parts, 2 Chicago games, the home games, and the away games. I'm a firm believer in the law of averages. I think they'll get a good one today.
They've lost 3 inside the last 2 minutes of ball games. That'll really take the heart out. On the other side, in order to pump up a team that's heading for the playoffs, 10-1, the 49ers, Walsh signed a guy named Fred Dean. It seemed to pick up the whole town.
Best pass rusher in the National Football League without a question of a doubt. The defensive backs are really happy that he's back, but the 49ers want to keep on winning, maintain a standard of play, and take it into the playoffs because they are pointing for that home field advantage. They want to create a situation where they're always at home, any situation in the playoffs.
Wayne, you could play golf off of this turf. It's grass. They had a real grass. There was a lot of rain last night, but it's been drained perfectly. Wershey is going to tee it up. That means the 49ers have lost the toss. They haven't lost many games, only that Pittsburgh one in the middle of the season. They are perfect otherwise. Morton and Leon Bright wait for Tampa Bay, and the ball game is underway. This is a deep kick by Wershey. Michael Morton misjudges it and will touch it down. So they will come out on the 20-yard line. Tampa Bay will with their first offensive shot. Here's the lineup. Steve DeBerg, the former 49er and Denver Bronco. He is cool. He's got to move out of that pocket, though, today. James Wilder, the total offensive yards leader in the NFL right now. He's having a great year. Adger Armstrong, a blocker at fullback. Gerald Carter, and look out for Kevin House. He has great days on the West Coast, whether it's the Raiders or the 49ers. Giles, Sanders, Corson, Wilson, Farrell, and Big Ron Heller, a kid out of Penn State. As John McKay said, it's going to be a great offensive tackle. Steve DeBerg. Now, the handoff. James Wilder is stopped at the 23.5 or 24-yard line, but don't feel sorry for this big kid. Here's the defense. Stuckey, Manu Tuiasosopo, and Dwayne Board. Board has 8 sacks, by the way. We'll give you that down front 4 that's going to be on the pass rushing line a little bit later. Buns, Ellison, Reynolds, and Keena Turner. And everybody talks about everybody's good, but nothing like this secondary, that great draft of 81. Hicks, Wright, Williamson, and Ronnie Lott.
Rookie, that was Ronnie Lott that made that hit on Wilder, and it was such a good hit that he came off the field, looked like it perhaps a shoulder problem. So Lott is not in there now. Mario Clark at the corner.
And Wilder is a 225-pounder, 6'4". He gets his second carry on a misdirection to the left, and is swarmed under short of the 25.
So now what that injury to Lott did now, Mario Clark came off the bench. He's at left corner, and Dwight Hicks moved back into his safety spot. That's the way the 49ers lined up that last play.
Farnhorst made the tackle, and here comes the pass rush, and here comes Fred Dean.
Well, he was a little bit concerned. He didn't know how the fans would accept him back because he held out. I guess that tells him right there they're glad to see him also.
$2 million contract over 4 years. But he had 17.5 sacks a year ago, and he may get a few today.
And he's going against the rookie over there because Tampa flops their tackles.
It's a spread formation to the bottom of the screen. DeBerg from the offset. DeBerg going for, Kevin House. Gerald Carter, and overthrowing him, but Carter looked like he might have been open a little bit.
And we mentioned that Tampa will flop their tackles in sure pass situations. Gene Sanders, the left tackle that time, lined up on the right side, and Ron Heller, the rookie, was over at the left. They think he's a little bit better. He had some help with Dean that time. A couple guys helped him out, but Dean still had a good push and got penetration.
Garcia, you can see, had those numbers on him. He's 52 kicks, and he led the NFC a year ago. He's a good punter. That's Dana McLemore. He's one of the better returns. This is a big kick. Long hang time. McLemore checks, has some room at the 30. McLemore with the 35 to the 36-yard line. Good run back by Dana McLemore. And the 49ers come in offensively. Kaplan was down under that kick. 6-yard return. Joe Montana, the #1 rated quarterback in the NFC. Wendell Tyler heading for 1,000 yards. He just needs 89 rushing today. He got 1,000. Roger Craig, boy, what a player at fullback. A great pass receiver, too. and Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon among the very best in the game outside. Earl Cooper. Now, Bubba Paris has got his work cut out for him. He faces Leroy Selman today. Otherwise, it's Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Keith Farnhorst heading for the Pro Bowl again. That's Ring in motion with Cross. Back to Craig. Craig out over the 40 in a burst. Jeff Davis making a tackle from the linebacking position.
Watch the nose tackle, David Logan. Good play here against Fred Quillen. Now, he's active, one of the quick ones in the league, and right now he's like a linebacker floating down that line, but Craig ran through the tackle, but it was a good effort by Logan to get out there in the first place. They had Ring in that first place because of his blocking ability. Tyler's in there now.
Well, there's a good nose tackle. Logan, he has 5 sacks already, and Leroy Selman is to his right. 2nd down and 5 for Montana. Outside, 1st down. Clark knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line by Castile. Here's that Buck defense. And boy, when they won and went to the championship game in the NFC in '79, they were really tough. Young John Cannon at left end. Dave Logan, one of the quicker nose tackles that Fulham will face all year. And one of the great players of all time, Leroy Selman. Keith Browner and Washington, 2 rookies at the outside positions. We'll talk about how much they miss Hugh Green. Jeff Davis inside there. Castile, Holt, Cotney, and Beasley Reese. Also a patched up secondary. 1st down drive play goes Wendell Tyler into Tampa territory. Wendell Tyler. Of course, you're looking at the man from Monongahela, Pennsylvania. His name is Joe Montana. What a year he's having.
Well, I guess he had 18 in a row in a stretch of 2 games he completed. That's ties for 2nd best ever in the National Football League, and it's tied with Steve DeBerg, the guy who's on the other side of the field.
Over 80% completions a week ago against the Cleveland Browns, and they thought they had a good defense. 2nd down 7, a misdirection play to Craig. The fullback vaults to the 45-yard line of Tampa Bay. Jeff Davis making his 2nd tackle along with Johnny Holt.
Jeff Davis, number 58, inside linebacker for Tampa Bay, the leading tackler on the ball club, and one of the good ones you're going to find. He's playing as good as anybody in the league right now at middle linebacker. He can take on the block and force that pile up.
He had an 18-tackle day a year ago. You know, 18 tackles, some people don't get that in a career. It's 3rd down, and Collette 2.5 to 3. Montana moving the team into Tampa territory. He's back. Now he's changing his mind. Here's where Montana really shines. Outside to Solomon, and he steps out at the 34-yard line. Mark Cotney just simply watched the play unfold.
Just nothing you can do when he gets outside that containment. Here's the isolation on Freddie Solomon. Now, all these 49er receivers, when they see Montana in trouble, they'll run their pattern. Look at Fred now. He's running an inside pattern. He sees Montana scrambling back out, and he starts pouring it towards the sideline, and he knows if he gets open, he's going to get it, and he got it in the right spot. It's so demoralizing for a defense. They haven't played well, and they have Montana go out and still make something out of nothing.
And Solomon has those feet. He keeps them in bounds. Dances like Ann Miller. The motion man is Freddie Solomon. The handoff to Wendell Tyler. Tyler gets away from a linebacker shot and lunges inside the 30. A lot of individual effort there. Jeff Davis making his 3rd tackle.
The Tampa Bay's coming right after him on defense. That was Scott Brantley that launched himself past Tyler originally. And Davis made the hit.
Remember that this Tampa Bay team lost their outside linebackers. One of them, the All-Pro Hugh Green, who had an automobile accident in early October. He'll be back, but he's one of the great impact players of all time. And Cecil Johnson, his knee gave away early in the year, so you've got rookies outside there. 2nd down and call it 6. Montana doesn't like the look. How cool can you be?
Cool as the other side of the pillow. That guy is.
It's no score, but Montana's got them moving. 1st quarter action. Okay, the team was 0-26 at one time, and then in '79, in 4 years, he took the team the fastest to a championship game of any coach that's ever been in this league. They lost to the Rams by 9 points. This last year, he's done very well at it. The fake draw. Montana's back on 2nd 6. Gets away from the rusher. Montana reloads. And now is pulled down on the 32-yard line as the linebackers swarmed on him. Browner getting him. David Logan also making some contact.
Well, you mentioned the problem that Bubba Paris might have with Leroy Selman. He hasn't seen him. I think that's the first indication right here. It was Selman, I think, that blew by Montana initially. Took an inside rush here, beat Paris inside, and thank goodness Montana saw him, or we might be opening up Matt Cavanaugh on the sideline.
The thing about Leroy Selman is that he has like 33 hurry-ups, and that's what you call a hurry-up. He disturbed the play so much.
Right.
And that's the reason that this team is a pretty good intercepting team. They're like second in the NFC on the INTs. It's third down now, and call it 8 to go. Montana back on third. Oh, he drills one. He's loose. Number 32, Carl Monroe. Monroe to the 6-yard line. Chris Washington caught him from behind, a 26-yarder.
You know, it's one of those situations almost where John Holt, number 21, and Mark Cotney, number 33, hit Monroe at the same time and kind of held him up because they hit simultaneously. Watch this. They sandwich him, and it kind of keeps him up. If they would have hit him staggered, he'd have gone down. But they hit him at exactly the same time from different sides, and that kept him up.
Different
That's just
size.
bad luck.
You know, and different size is the thing. This team hits you from so many different areas, and everybody has a game ball day. They're driving early now. The first possession for San Francisco with 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Tyler stopped at the 5-yard line. Good play defensively. They're all on top. Fumble, and let's see. They've come up with it. The Buccaneers have held. John Cannon stacked it up, I believe, number 78. But I think Browner came up with the football.
Someone came down, closed down extremely well from the right defensive side and stripped the ball out of there. It came loose right away. Browner on it, and the Bucs are in business.
Browner, the young rookie out of SC from the great family of Browners. The whole bunch has played good football, and the Birds team gets a chance from the 7-yard line, first and 10. The Bird now throwing the slant pattern. Completes it, let's see with the fumble. If it's called a completion, no, it's going to be called incomplete pass.
That's a good call. He didn't have it long enough to retain possession of it, so that's a good call. And we got word from Ronnie Lott, who was injured on the very first play of the ball game. He is in the locker room. He has a dislocated shoulder. He will not be back today. Steve DeBerg, slant in pattern right here. Watch for yourself. Ball comes out immediately.
That's Kevin House. A couple of years ago, he had 170 yards against the Raiders. He just ate up Lester Hayes, and last year out here at this same ballpark, he did a heck of a job against the 49ers.
Had 150 yards in receiving.
So it's second down and 10. New life for Tampa Bay. Second down and 10 from the 7. Here's the draw play. Wilder gets out on his own to the 14-yard line. Carlton Williamson making a tackle there.
You know, I'm surprised that the 49ers on defense, they're not moving around too much. The DeBerg comes up to the line of scrimmage, and he likes to get a pre-snap read of the defense. And the 49ers felt that they knew that about him, and they'd move around and disguise their defenses a lot. They haven't done much of it so far.
Wilder has had days where he's carried the ball 43 times. He had over 200 yards rushing a year ago against Minnesota. And I'm telling you, he's a workhorse that loves it. He said he doesn't even know how many times he carries it. It's third down and 3 on the 14. Pass out in the flat. Wilder one-hands it and gets the first down to the 20-yard line.
Great throw. You don't know how good a throw that was by DeBerg. He was under big pressure right away. Safety blitzed him back there, and he got rid of it in good style, going backwards, off balance to Wilder, and it was where the backs wanted, in front of him.
Looked like he threw it right by a linebacker just by the trajectory of the ball, huh?
They had a safety blitz that time back there, too. That was a great throw, even though it was just a short pass.
First down play. Wilder, we've been told, and DeBerg told us, that he is one of the great receivers you've ever seen coming out of the backfield, I believe. First and 10 on the 20. The toss. Back to Wilder. Wilder makes a tremendous contact, gets out to almost a 24-yard line.
You hear that hit again? Well, we can hear him up here. We heard that Lott hit the first play of the game, and then that was a big hit there by Hicks, number 22.
And Carlton Williamson. What do you think about Hicks playing the corner? He says he has to support a little faster on the run, doesn't he?
Well, and I know he's real pleased right now to be, even though I know he doesn't want Ryan Lott to be hurt, but he's just more comfortable in at safety, and that's where he really wants to play.
A very deep team, though, picking up Mario Clark, a Buffalo Bill player that is really a very fine defensive back.
He's the next #1 draft choice.
So now it's second down. And 7. The DeBerg with a lot of time. All over the receiver, number 87. Gerald Carter catches it. I didn't see a flag, but it really looked like Derek Wright was laying all over.
And it looked like, well, what I think happened is Carter slipped on his cut here. Let's take a look at it. And I think they kind of got tangled up on each other after he slipped. He drives him back. Eric Wright's in good shape now. Right here, down they go. They both slip.
Good catch.
DeBerg threw it on time, and Carter made a good scrambling catch.
He's the possession receiver, not quite as fast as House, but a very good set of hands on him, a 12-yard advance. And DeBerg had a lot of time. His first down call, the run. Good run by Wilder. He tumbles to the 44-yard line.
Well, I like him.
Does he make a cut at the line of scrimmage quickly?
Well, you just know that he wants to get that ball and head upfield with it, and nothing fancy. Ask him who his heroes were. We talked to him last night. He said, well, Zonka and Franco Harris were guys I watched. He said, but I don't play like them. There's three of us out there. There's part of Zonka, there's part of Franco, and part of me out there.
A lot of him from Missouri. He just set every Missouri rushing record there is. And last year he was doing a super till about the 9th game when he got 2 broken ribs. This year, as you can see, he's very healthy. 2 yards to go on second down. Wilder picks up the first down, getting to the 48-yard line. The offensive line's coming off pretty decently for Tampa Bay.
They're a good one. They're especially good at run blocking. Steve Corson, a left guard. Saunders over there that time in front of Wilder. You mentioned Wilder and carrying the ball. You know, I said, 35 times too much for you. And he said, no, I never really noticed. He said, the only time it would be too much for me if I got exhausted in a game. And he said, and that has never, ever happened to me.
Here's the team that's buoyed now by the fact that the 49ers tossed up the ball driving for their first score. So they're starting out even on this drive, and they're doing well with it. DeBerg, a lot of time. Now he's being rushed. And overthrows. It's intercepted at the 29-yard line. Brian Hicks with an interception, still on his feet. Now being trapped at the 41-yard line of San Francisco. DeBerg got good big pressure from Big Hands Johnson, I believe, and puffed it up.
Yes, he did. It's a ball that DeBerg, of course, I know the minute he released it, wished that he would have had it back because it was not a good throw and it really wasn't directed anywhere where it was going to do any damage anyway. He felt the pressure and wanted to release it early, but this is one that he just should have folded up and taken down with him.
Third interception for Hicks.
Tuiasa Sopo looks like 78 with the pressure. And then he just really threw a balloon out there. Not a good throw.
And the 49ers spread it around on defense, too. A lot of people have interceptions. 49ers hold. 4:47 left in the first period. No score. Record pitcher. He came in that third game of the year for Tampa Bay, and he's giving their offense a lot to go on. Here's outside the flat. This is Craig. Craig with the ball to the 44-yard line. Good defense by Chris Washington. Look at these figures on giveaways, takeaways. San Francisco, 27 takeaways, 17 giveaways, a +10. That's about as good as you can play defense.
And you put that San Francisco stat up on top of the fact that they're one of the smartest teams in the league. They don't beat themselves mentally, and you understand now why they're where they are.
And Tampa Bay with 31 giveaways. That's #1 in the NFC. Montana is 4 for 4. It's second down. And 8. Inside to the 47-yard line goes Roger Craig. Good defense being played by Tampa Bay. And at one time, they were just about as tough, the front 7 players they had a few years ago, as anybody in football, and they beat on you. They're very physical. Scores from around the league. Giants 16-10 over St. Louis. Well, the air's out of the balloon in St. Louis. Philadelphia. Yeah, they played well the last 5 weeks, huh? 16-10. The Eagles beating Washington. 31-6. Green Bay settles with Rams' ideas about wild card. Montana back on 3rd down and 5. Has the completion for a first down for Cooper at the Tampa Bay 42.5.
Pretty gutsy catch right there by Cooper coming over the middle. He expected to get slammed and was. Converted fullback. Converted to that position by that man right there a couple years ago.
The feeling here is that Bill Walsh might be wanting to go all the way, win the Super Bowl, and maybe just go to the front office and let somebody else coach. Do you feel like that's reasonable?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Boy, he's got all the ingredients. What a team. 1st and 10 call. Play action pass. Montana's going deep. Solomon's open. The ball was thrown away from the receiver, but Castile was in his wake.
Goodness gracious, Solomon was 7 or 8 yards out in the open at one time here. Watch this, see what he does. Castile's 23. Freddie just kind of lulled him to sleep and then ran right by him without a move. Montana throws this ball to the inside. It's 6 points because Cottony can't get there either.
Remember, Tampa Bay plays deep zone strictly. They drop back and let you have short ones. And I think the corner belonged to somebody else from safety coming over, and he just never got there.
Perhaps.
Cleveland, wow, rebounding against Atlanta. 23-7. This team beat Cleveland 41-7 last week. Seattle beating Cincinnati. And Cincinnati battled them hard. Montana gonna scramble. Dumps it in the middle, and Craig gets hit hard, but hangs on at the 36. John Cannon hit the fullback right in the back, he and Jeff Davis.
Check the end of it right here. Craig over the middle, and he's going to get sandwiched. Brantley and Davis, the two inside people. And look at number 63, a defensive end, Selman, downfield hustling, trying to get in on a hit too.
I saw him play great football one year. Leroy had a bad leg and couldn't play half speed. They were still doubling him. He always gets a guard and a tackle, or a back and a tackle. But San Francisco said, we're going to play him straight. We think we can block it. 3rd down and 2. Montana, he's open. Clark has it. Clark gets inside the 15-yard line. Dwight Clark beats Beasley Reese.
I mean, you don't talk a lot about Montana's arm strength, but I'll tell you what, he's thrown 3 passes in this game that looked like the arm belonged to Bartkowski or Marino or something. He really zinged this slant in pattern right in here. He didn't have much room because they had in pretty good shape. Acorn was in there, and the nickel back was in good shape in front of Clark, and there was just a little seam there, and Montana just rifled it in.
A consecutive game pass streak of 68. He's caught fewer balls this year, but for more yardage than a year ago. All cylinders this team hits on. 1st and 10. Inside the 50. That's Wendell Tyler. Oh, from behind, Leroy Selman causes a fumble. The Buccaneers think they have the fumble.
What a player. What a player, Selman.
Oh, from behind, he chased Wendell Tyler down, and the Buccaneers have held again.
And, you know, when he got there from behind, he had so much momentum going, and Tyler was going that same direction that, you know, it was one of those let me pull you down tackles. When he got there, he put something on it at the end. And that caused the fumble.
And Wendell Tyler misses Russ Francis at tight end. There's no doubt about it. He's fallen off on his 100-yard game.
2 guards pulling. This is the 49ers' favorite play. This is what they call 18 Bob. But watch number 63 come down. Good job by the rookie Browner, too. I might add number 57 of closing down there. But, boy, that was a big hit, especially when it came from behind.
If you run away from Leroy Selman, you better have somebody blocking. It's still no score. To 20. They've had 2 fumbles recovered by Tampa Bay already in this first quarter. And I'll tell you, Walsh was checking to see if Wendell Tyler's got a problem. 1st and 10. 1st and 10 run by Wilder. He doesn't meet much. There's a little bit of an altercation at about the 17-yard line, but Wilder didn't get much.
76 to Wayne Board, perhaps the 49ers' best all-around defensive lineman. Looking to take the tackle. Sanders on there, straighten him up, and then make the hit. Excellent defensive play. You can't do it any better than that.
He just plays solid, just enough to be considered by his opponents as about the best all-around defensive player they face. Not spectacular in the Dean style, but very solid. 2nd down and 8, facing Steve DeBerg. He's facing the sun, too, on his drop back. Good throw. Giles has it. The big tight end has what looks like a 1st down. Fawnhorse hanging on there. And this fella, if he gets motivated today, he can change your game plan.
Been to 3 Pro Bowls. We're talking about Jimmy Giles. You're looking at Wendell Tyler right there, who has been having a terrific year for the 49ers. And has been doing reasonably well, holding on to the ball up to this point today. But 4 carries this afternoon and 2 fumbles so far.
Boy, and everybody thought, gee, Tampa Bay's coming in. Aren't we going to have fun? Tampa Bay is a tough football team, and their coach, John McKay, says this is his last year. No score after 1. Hiram Brookshire and Wayne Walker, over 61,000 here in bright sunshine in San Francisco. No score after a period. Wilder on the misdirection play. Gets outside, gets a block too by the flanker, and gets out over the 37-yard line. He just jumps over people.
Not bad effort. I tell you, he got outside of Tina Turner that time, and that I think maybe the first time that we've seen that happen this season, Tom. And what have we done? About 7 or 8 49er games.
Buffalo winning their first 14-3 over Dallas. They used 2 touchdowns by Bell, one a kickoff return, the other from scrimmage.
Bob Thomas, a late field goal with a couple seconds left, beat the Lions for the Bears.
New England steamrolling away under Raymond Berry. 50-17. First and 10. A straight drop back by DeBerg. He has time. It's knocked away. Good defensive play by number 29, Mario Clark.
Mario Clark, right.
Intended for Kevin House. So far, House has been held houseless.
Well, Mario Clark was an acquisition by the 49ers. Ronnie Lott was a holdout in training camp, and they didn't know how long, contract-wise, they didn't know how long he was going to be out. So when they got Mario Clark for that purpose, and it worked out extremely well when Lott went out earlier in the season with injuries, and now he's back in there again because of another Lott injury.
Kevin House in here with 51 catches already, just the 12th game of the season. What a year he's having. DeBerg being rushed, and Fred Dean has caused an interception. Tina Turner comes up with the interception, and it was number 74.
See if they're going to call it an interception or not. That looks like they're going to. Tina made a diving catch, but boy, Dean was back there just as DeBerg was setting up, and he gets a big hand as he comes off the field.
Dean was all over DeBerg. He came up so quickly. We'll see if he went inside or outside. No score.
Very big hands Johnson takes an inside rusher. That's Tuiasosopo, rather. That creates a cavity. Fred Dean comes down inside also and makes the big hit on DeBerg, causing that interception.
They say the smaller defensive ends, and he only weighs 230, usually go outside, but I saw an article about Donovan of Dallas, and he said Dean will go inside anytime you give him the slightest chance in there.
Relies on quickness, only 230 pounds.
He hadn't even worked out this year that they know of in a football suit, but he looks like he's been here the whole season. First and 10. 49ers with another turnover. Breaks in motion. Montana looks, dishes across the middle. Cooper has it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line of Tampa Bay.
You know, Roger Craig has been so successful catching the ball the recent weeks. 8 catches last week and 7 the Sunday before that he drug a linebacker with him that time that would normally be in the middle, and that's why Cooper was so open. You got to make adjustments when you play this team, and it seems like they always come back and take advantage of the adjustment you make.
The quarterback, in this case Montana, has a rating of 102.4, 19 TDs, and only 8 interceptions, and he is something to watch. Craig dives inside the 35 to the 34. Jeff Davis making the tackle there. Don't forget, this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, we all love it. NFL football on CBS. It all starts with the NFL Today at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Then the Green Bay Packers meet the Detroit Lions, Wayne's old team, in a traditional Thanksgiving Day slugfest, it says here. NFL football this Thursday on CBS Sports.
That's what they used to be when we played the Packers in the 60s until they quit playing us.
Well, you played them for about 2 decades. You only had, what, 15 seasons with the Lions?
Coach Lombardi said he didn't think it was fair that Green Bay had to walk into that hornet's nest every Thanksgiving Day. He went spread it around the league, he said. So that's what happened.
Thanksgiving Day on CBS. I bet Jimmy the Greek will have his turkey all lined up in the NFL Today studio there. Dressing and all those things. It's 3rd and inches. How would you like to play in defense right now? Montana and San Francisco. Montana for the sneak for the first down. 12:49 left before halftime. Neither team has scored, and there have been 4 turnovers.
Bill Walsh told us in practice yesterday that because of the zone defense that Tampa Bay plays, they play a little deep. Their linebackers drop deep. That you'll see a lot of short passes from San Francisco today. They'll try to take advantage of the linebackers, throw the ball in front of them or in between them.
49ers have 6 first downs. That was the first one by rushing, and it was by the quarterback. The lone back is Tyler behind the quarterback. He takes the toss. Crosses up in front. Wendell Tyler inside the 20. Tyler inside the 10. Knocked out at the 7-yard line is Wendell Tyler. And what a block by Cross on the outside. A 26-yard scamper.
Randy Cross is the right guard. You see him there, number 51. Watch him on the pull here. He's to the left of Montana's, pulling right along with Tyler. Keith Fonhorst with a block over there. John Frank, the tight end, and Cross got the knockout. And look at Tyler, who we said is getting close to 1,000 yards on the season.
Cross didn't get much of the defender, but Wendell, you don't have to get much, just a little bit, and he's mad because of that turnover earlier. There he is. There's a fellow that is very consistent and always shows up.
Well, he's one of the best pulling guards in the league. Definitely the best puller that this team has. The other guard, John Ayers, perhaps a better pass blocker. But they all work in tandem and in unison.
49ers have called timeout. 12:10 left before half, and Tyler's moving. 49ers are averaging 28 points a game. That's an average on offense, and you can see those numbers. 2 goose eggs. Tampa Bay's playing tough. First and goal on the 8. The crowd sensing they must strike now. Inside handoff. Tyler gets to the 5. Well played by the interior lineman, Logan and Cannon, and Leroy Selman.
Well, David Logan, number 76, the nose tackle, and not a big one in there, about 250 pounds, relies on quickness, and didn't start out the year like he wanted to because he had a series of minor injuries, and when you rely on quickness and guile, when you're nicked up a little bit, it hurts you some, but he's 100% now and playing extremely well again.
And they haven't not decided to give up on the season. They shut down the Giants last week completely. Here's a toss back to Craig. Craig tries to get inside the 3 and does to the 2. Actually doing a kick to get down near the 1-yard line.
Well, that almost looked like John McKay's old student body left or student body right at SC. All they did is toss out here. This is Solomon in motion, and look at the people in front. If that's not the student body, that's because these guys have just graduated.
Out of Nebraska, number 33. Last year, a second-round draft choice, and a lot of scouts around the league laughed. He had a reputation for fumbling and etc. in the Big 8. I'll tell you one thing, he's one of the most complete football players I've seen this year. Third down and goal on the 2. Frank for a touchdown. Touchdown rushing for Roger Craig.
You saw it the time before to the right. Here it is, same play to the left. 68 is Ayers, the guard. And Craig just outruns Beasley Reese to the corner of the end zone.
Tyler got a good block, and also Freddie Solomon turned in a linebacker. Everybody's beautiful, especially after a touchdown scamper by your fullback. Bergey's kick attempt. He hasn't missed an extra point in an eon. Wow, in the bright sunshine of San Francisco. 49ers 7-0. Told me that when Jan Stenerud kicked a 53-yard field goal to beat him on the last play, and then winked at him, he said he knew it was time to quit. He says the guy should be on Medicare. Here's Morton with the kickoff return. Gets a good wedge. He gets out over the 20 to the 23-yard line. Derek Harmon making the tackle there, and special teams. Their play can really decide whether you're a good team or just average.
Our Coach McKay had some good one-liners. He entertained us for a while yesterday. He really did. He said, "What kind of team you got?" He said, "Well, I think we've got a wonder team. I wonder what they're going to do next." A lot of the time.
The sense of humor. A lot of people have always thought he was a distant coach, but he had 40 All-Americans at USC. O.J. Simpson, Lynn Swann. You can name a long list. Pat Hayden. And every one of them I know has contacted him since his decision to quit and said, "Coach, do what you want to do, but we love you." Maybe he's closer than we think to players. First and 10. Steve DeBerg is the quarterback. He grew up and played in the area at San Jose State. Straight drop back. He's got time. Going down the sidelines, wide open is number 87, Gerald Carter. Carter put a move on Mario Clark, and the DeBerg pass was perfect.
Yeah, and it was a great look off by DeBerg. He actually wanted to come over to the left side. There was nothing there, and it was double coverage over there, and Mario Clark was left alone right here with Carter. Carter, little delay pattern, and then just took it up down the sideline. DeBerg came back over here, secondary receiver, and put it right on the shelf.
A lot of Texas Aggies on the Tampa Bay squad, and there's one of them, number 87. And Boyd Dallas said, this guy gives you everything he's got, and if the ball hits his hands, he catches it. A 43-yarder, DeBerg to Gerald Carter. Boy, Tampa Bay says, in your face, we're coming after you. First and 10 on the 35. Wilder gets outside. Oh, tripped up by Mario Clark's legs.
Well, that was a saver.
Like Wilder had the sidelines made. How did he define Wilder when we asked him yesterday, talking to him? A big slasher, he said. He's not a speedball. He'll take you on and bucket, put the ball away. He really admires James Wilder. The record at SC, 127 wins, but how about 8 Rose Bowl appearances, of which he won 5? Tampa Bay, of course, as we said, he was the first coach to take an expansion team to the championship game in 4 years. Steve DeBerg calls timeout as that shifting San Francisco defense forces him to talk to the coach. 7-0 San Francisco, but Tampa Bay's on a roll. It all started at Sutter's Mill a few years ago, huh? All right, second down. And 9 to go for Tampa Bay. Carter's the man in motion. Here comes the blitz. Out in the flat. Wilder has it at the 35 to the 28-yard line, scrambling for it. Eric Wright tripped him up.
It's a good call on a blitz, Tom. It was a blitz by the inside linebacker, Fawnhorse, that time. And Tampa Bay picked it up extremely well. But there wasn't anything downfield, and DeBerg had to dump it off to Wilder. It's not a bad man to get it to.
And DeBerg told us that they almost call that a handoff. It's almost like a toss play, but they decide to throw it. And he hits this big Wilder on the run with that. It's a good play.
He said he thought if he's done anything for the Tampa Bay offense, it's introduced him to throwing to the backs a little bit more than they had before to it. And it's helped a lot with their time of possession. For the first time in the history of the franchise, they have positive possession time since DeBerg's been a part of it.
DeBerg learned that right here in San Francisco from Bill Walsh. DeBerg back to throw. He's got a lot of time. Sets up. This is Carter inside the 20 to the San Francisco 16-yard line. Hickey taking a ride at that point. Dwight Hicks.
See what they're doing with number 74, Fred Dean, in there. You know they're paying special attention to him now, especially caused one interception. He tried to take an inside rush that time, work a deal with Big Hands Johnson, but they were waiting for him.
Well, Big Hands Johnson went right over the top of Corson, didn't he?
Well, Corson was the inside guy that ended up picking up Dean. It was Saunders that I believe that he went over the top of, or tried to anyway, and he got stuck.
A big reception and a first down, and the Buccaneers have bounced right back after the touchdown by Craig and said, you know something, we're going to throw some offense too. First and 10 on the 16. A handoff to Wilder. Looking for blocking. Gets it, goes over, and turns a complete flip to the 11-yard line.
A complete effort flip. I'll tell you, think he doesn't give his body up. Check it out here. Kind of a counter play. See the counter step and the guard pull? That's Corson in front of him. And here comes the tackle, number 74, Saunders, to seal off. He takes it up inside both of them. Ricky Ellison right there gets a shoulder on him, and that flips Wilder, but I'll tell you, good effort.
Wilder came in with 1,062 yards, only the second Buccaneer ever to go over 1,000. Of course, Ricky Bell was the first. But I'll tell you, he's just getting started. Here's game number 12. Here's number 32 again. Wilder inside the 10, stays on his feet to the 9-yard line.
Almost could have called that one before it was snapped.
I like the way he uses his blockers.
Yeah, I tell you, he was about 9 yards deep that time in the backfield in the setup that's really usually run from the I formation. You just kind of knew it was going to be a toss, and the 49ers knew it too. They were there. Dwight Hicks showed up at the line of scrimmage and gave him a shot and bounced off him like a bumper car.
Wilder had 99 yards against the tough New York Giants defense. Lawrence Taylor and everybody, and he did it on 30-some-odd carries. He doesn't have to do it the easy way. He's tough inside. Third down, and call it 3. DeBerg on a rollout. Stop, throws, knocked away in the end zone. Intended for Carter. Eric Wright spiked it.
Tampa Bay told you before the game, Tommy, that they were going to run a little of this, a little rollout and throwback action. Watch it here, off play action. They get everybody going to the left. DeBerg comes out here alone to the right. Lawrence Pillar's in good shape. DeBerg steps back in, but watch one of the best cover men in the National Football League, Eric Wright, number 21. He came all the way across the field with his man and made the play.
He was playing defense at Missouri when Wilder was playing offense for the Tigers at Missouri. Here's Obed Ariri, the young Nigerian kicker.
Watch him move around before he kicks the ball, too. When the ball snapped, he takes a couple little dance steps. The only kick I've ever seen do that.
He does a little dance. Yeah, there he goes. Ooh, inside and through. He glanced it off. He caromed it off like Willie Mosconi off the right bar. He played with the NCAA Soccer Championship Clemson team in soccer. Watch this one, folks.
Yeah, this makes him 12 of 17 for the year, and he started out in the first part of the season, didn't have a kick shorter than 40 yards. McKay likes him. And McKay doesn't like kickers.
McKay refuses to watch, but his guy got the field goal. It's 7-3 San Francisco. The successful field goal, the carom shot now kicks off. Derek Harmon into the sun, takes it and touches it down 5 yards deep in the end zone. Let's go to New York City now on NFL Update with Brent Musburger.
Well, Brookie, the Denver Broncos struck first in this game 3 times, and now Minnesota's come back. Tommy Kramer's got Ted Brown out of the backfield. 21-7, though. The Broncos are still dominating. Back to Brookie.
Denver must have found an offense. They usually steal the ball game from you in the last minute with a fumble or something like that. Rolling in the AFC West. And surprisingly so, Reeves can barely explain the Broncos. You don't want to explain it when you're winning. First down and 10. Ball's on the 20. Montana. A lot of time. Jumps at the front. Clark runs into trouble at the 26-yard line.
One of those short passes we talked about that they came into the game wanting to run. Clark came in motion, stopped, delayed, and then came over the middle. Here's number 63. We talk a lot about Fred Dean. This guy's every bit the ball player Dean is, and is in there every down. Inside rush here, and Bubba Paris looks like he's got him clamped up, and then Wendell doesn't want to be there, but is, and he helps out a little bit.
I was reading about Leroy Selman the other day, and he said he plays football in the offseason, that he's a banker full-time. He's been in the banking business learning how to get along when football days are over. Very bright, and boy, is he
He's going to have plenty to bank.
Roger Craig on the outside to the 33-yard line, dragging Castile with him. You think his deferred payments will keep him busy just investing theirs, right?
I think so. You know, he's still only, Selman we're talking about, still only his 9th year. And his coach, McKay, said that he's playing the best football of his career right now.
First player picked in 1976. What a player.
Well, they think down there at Oklahoma that he may be the best defensive football player they've ever had at school.
And they've had a lot of great players. The rest of his brothers played pretty well. Officials have been very quiet today, which is the reason the game has been smoothly run. Tom Dooley is the man.
Formation. No end on the end of the line. Offense. Second down.
No end on the end of the line. To see if there's an end of the line there, that's it. That is the end.
Bonhorse ended up as a tackle eligible, I'm afraid, on that one.
Well, sometimes they get confused as to what side's the strong side and the weak side when they're switching formation so much, and a guy sometimes who should be on the line is a yard back, and that creates that penalty.
How about number 71? 1 sack all year, and Montana, he loads it up and throws a lot of passes. What a great right tackle. The whole offensive line is vastly underrated, if that's possible. Second down and a long 7. High formation. Montana on play action, getting some rush, going deep for Solomon. Solomon tries to catch it at the 34-yard line. Castile, the Alabama All-American of 2 or 3 years ago, makes a good play.
He made an excellent play right here. Castile, you'll see him over here, bottom of your screen. Start his drop right here. Now, the toughest thing for a defensive back to do once he gets turned and the ball's in the air, he's in good shape. Now he has to look back, and it's hard to do, but he does. And that enables him to make the play. If you'd have been watching Solomon, you know, the receivers go down there on those long balls like that, and they'll fake it. They won't pretend the ball's coming to them until right at the end, and they'll reach back and make the catch. defensive backs say, and you know it, Tom, you watch their eyes, and their eyes widen a little bit, so you know the ball's in the air. And then you got to look yourself.
Bear Bryant, the late Bear Bryant, said Castile was the best player pound for pound in the SEC at Alabama. Outside, almost taken away from Dwight Clark, but he has it and steps out. John Holt forced him out there and is hurt.
Another good play over on the other side. Isolated right here. You'll get a look at it. Dwight Clark, the longtime favorite receiver of Joe Montana, ran a short pattern. He was spread out wide. Digs it down and then takes it to the sideline. A timing pattern. The ball's on the way. And that's as good as you can play it.
Holt hurt his hand. Acorn will come in, the little sprinter. They've lost Mike Washington, their starting corner, and Cedric Brown early in the year. So this is a patched up and good defense. Wendell Tyler hit at the 34-yard line. Almost the line of scrimmage.
That's a great play by Robert Thompson, who is in there at outside linebacker right now for Keith Browner, second-year player out of Michigan. Extremely quick. I tell you, he strung that out and he played that as well as anybody's played it all year against the San Francisco 49ers.
Remember, there's been sort of a two-season deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They said Chicago was one season. The Bears have beaten them badly twice, but the rest of the games on their schedule could have gone either way. This one is still that way. Second down and 9. Montana loads it out to Craig. Craig gets away and steps out at the 41-yard line. Make it the 40-yard line. Castile jamming him out there.
Well, Montana knows this offense of Bill Walsh's so well now. He's been in it for 6 years, and he just really knows where everyone is on the field. And you have to really cover everybody. I mean, you can't double up on anybody and leave anybody cruising over there like Craig that time, because Montana will eventually get over there to him with his head and eyes and find him and get the ball to him.
Third down. Call it 3 at the 40. San Francisco 40. They are doubling on Leroy Selman, and Montana has the time. Gets it to Kyle Monroe. Monroe pulled down at the 12-yard line. Acorn, the little sprinter, caught Monroe from behind after 47 yards.
Watch him right here now. He starts out with the linebacker Brantley on him. He's in trouble. Acorn breaks off his man actually and runs him down, or they've got 6 points. That was not the responsibility of Fred Acorn, because you saw the inside linebacker Brantley running for him. All Acorn did was come off his man and save a touchdown.
Monroe's 10th catch of the season, a large one, and everybody sees it. We said that very often. Montana on first down. Now get to Craig. Boy, Craig to his crowd in a hurry. Scott Brantley unloaded on the fullback.
You know, that's another thing that we talk about when Monroe was open on that last play, Tom, is that very seldom do the 49ers get someone open like that downfield and Montana miss him. You'll see a lot of quarterbacks through the course of a year have people open downfield and not see him. But I guarantee you, this guy sees the field so well that you get open for him and you're going to get the ball.
There are a lot of talented people, but I'll tell you, disciplined talent like Montana has is hard to find indeed. Second down and 5. He reads so quickly. This is the handoff. This is Derek Harmon. Flag is thrown. Going to see if it's an unsportsmanlike. Somebody may have piled on. Jeff Davis made the original tackle there.
Beasley Reese is over there also, and once again it was another good job by Robert Thompson, the young player from Michigan.
Face mask, unsportsmanlike, Tampa Bay.
See if we can pick it up here. Now watch 59 stringing it out here. That's a good job. They're trying to get outside and can't. And it was 78 defense. John Cannon, the defensive end, who reached in there and got the face mask.
Well, he's a fine young fella from William & Mary. I didn't think they taught you to do that at that William & Mary.
They don't, but sometimes he was kind of going down. You reach in there to grab hold of something for anything you get hold of, and all of a sudden it happens to be the face mask, and it's not your first reaction to let go of it.
First and goal from the 3-yard line. Here's the reverse. The reverse to Solomon. And Solomon scores a running touchdown. John Ayers making the big block on the reverse.
couple bucks. Nothing sold this like the fake. Watch Roger Craig over the top diving. That sold a lot of the defense. John Frank is blocking inside. John Ayers outside and into the end zone untouched.
Ayers, a guy we don't get to mention so much, but he's a very steady big Texan there at the left side. Wershing trying for the extra point. Montana's got the hold down. The flags are down. Let's see if Tampa Bay had too many men on the field or not enough. The second rushing touchdown for Freddie Solomon. Dooley's crew has allowed these teams to batter each other and play a little bit. It's been sort of fun so far.
The last game, 12 men on the defense. Point is good. Be penalized on the kickoff.
John McKay says, that's what we need. We put 12 on, and he still makes the extra point. It's 14-3 San Francisco. Is teeing it up here in San Francisco. The clouds have come over just a little bit. Still a nice day. Leon Bright and Morton. Bright, of course, the former New York Giant runback man and dangerous. This is Leon Bright. Ooh, 9 yards deep in the end zone. Wershing with a little help by the breeze.
I want to just point out the fake by Roger Craig. Right, watch it hold the linebackers in there. See 58 Davis, the linebacker on that side. Craig made such a good fake that he had took a couple steps in and couldn't get back out. Look where he is right now. Now, if he hadn't taken that fake, he might get over there and make the play on Solomon. But it was such good deception by the 49ers and an effort fake by Roger Craig that froze things up in there. And that's how plays work.
This team rolling along. They could have tied and perhaps won the Pittsburgh game, their only loss. And Wershing just barely missed a field goal at the buzzer on that game. But they are 10-1 coming in and trying to get it nailed down. The playoff spot is theirs. But they would like to go ahead and finish this one off this season. First and 10. The drop by DeBerg. It's a screen pass to the right side. That's Wilder to the 22-yard line. Let's go to New York City now on NFL Update with Rick Musburger.
Rookie John Elway is having one of the best days ever in the National Football League. Here's his third touchdown pass. He drills it. And Butch Johnson is wide open. 20 yards on the score. 28-7. Denver over Minnesota. Back to Brookie and Wayne.
The Stanford rifle thrower, Johnny Elway, huh?
Ball gets there in a hurry with him.
Yeah, if you don't catch it, it'll burn your hands off. Broncos heading for the playoffs. Heading against Seattle in 2 games in the final 5. Here's DeBerg, back to throw. Quickly across the middle to Giles. There's a flag thrown at the 40-yard line. Giles is to about the 27-yard line. Keena Turner, the linebacker, making the tackle, and Wayne, he is just playing his way steadily right into the Pro Bowl this year, isn't he?
I think so too. That goes against Tampa Bay. Watch Keena Turner here. You know, in the years of situation players and specialization, see Giles delay a little bit and come in, turn right with him. Keena Turner is a guy for the 49ers that plays every down. John McKay says he doesn't like all that specialization stuff. He liked the old days when guys got in there and played every down. He said now it's like you put in Perry Como and I put in Sinatra.
Number, second down.
The wit of John McKay. I always felt like some of the Tampa Bay members of the press just didn't understand that half of what John McKay says is with tongue-in-cheek. Got a wonderful sense of humor, and perhaps they think he's being caustic when he's just being rather humorous. There is a difference. Second down and 17. The penalty against Tampa Bay. DeBerg. Against the 4-man rush. Dean is in there. Dean is after him. It's dumped over to Wilder. Wilder, on a little slipstream, storms to the 30-yard line to the 31. Good call by Tampa Bay. Big Hands Johnson had to tackle him from behind. Good call. Tampa Bay trying to get on the board again. It's 14-3. Those are afraid to show up in San Francisco. If you have a ticket, if you're lucky enough, you come to see the 49ers. 2-minute warning before halftime and a 14-3 lead over Tampa Bay. A very dangerous looking football team. First and 10 for DeBerg right on the 30, his own. DeBerg with a deep drop against the four-man rush. This is Kevin House to the 36-yard line. Clock is running now as the Tampa Bay team quickly gets back to the line of scrimmage. Kevin House is the speed receiver for Tampa Bay. And everybody's taking deep drops right now. DeBerg outside, overthrowing Kevin House, who was already buried by Carlton Williamson.
49ers playing little tricks now with Fred Dean. That time he lined up over at left defensive end. We told you earlier that Tampa Bay will flop their offensive tackles, and they always want to have Ron Heller blocking Dean in pass situations. They had him over the left side that time, so Dean went to the other side.
I've never heard of such specialization as that. That doesn't sound like McKay to me.
Yeah.
A pass blocking tackle.
That's putting in Perry Como and Bobby Rydell.
Rydell, third down and 4, call it. The rush is on. DeBerg quickly throws it, and number 87 has it out in the flat, Carter, and that ball was thrown before Carter even made the cut.
Well, really thrown extremely well on timing pattern that time by DeBerg, and he said that more than anything, he's learned the offense here, the Tampa Bay offense. Now the thing that has to come is the relationship between he and his wide receivers. Know their speed and their cuts, and know when to release. And he said that's only going to come with working with him and studying with him. And he's just now been able to get into the aspect of that with both House and with Carter. So that'll improve as the time goes by for the Bucs.
DeBerg now with an 11-yard strike. And it also stopped the clock. 1:26 left before halftime. First and 10. 47-yard line. DeBerg out in the flat. Good catch by number 46, Armstrong. The fullback almost makes the first down, but let's see if he did or not. They may have to stop and measure. I think Todd Shell, the BYU rookie, made the tackle for San Francisco. Clock is running, and it's a drop back. Oh, great catch by Carter from DeBerg, and gets inside the 10-yard line to the 9.
What a throw.
What a throw, and it was a strike. Looked like he looked for him all the way from the time he took the snap. A 43-yarder.
Watch this arm right here now. Steve DeBerg to Carter. Now this ball's in the air for about 40 yards, and I don't believe it ever got more than 10 feet high. This was on a wire in there. That is just a great, great throw.
And a good read by DeBerg. 53 seconds left. 14-3. San Francisco lead. 2 rushing touchdowns. One by Craig, the fullback. One by Solomon, the receiver, on the reverse. But Tampa Bay has been in this ball game and continues to be from the very start. Carter and House, the receivers. Wilder, the deep back. DeBerg, touchdown to Giles in the end zone. And that's some drive. And there's still 49 seconds on the clock before half.
I think DeBerg actually wanted to take a little bit longer drop than he did that time, but Giles came so wide open so early that he stopped in mid-drop, it looked like, and planted and fired the ball. Watch it. Giles will be coming from the right of your screen, covered by Carlton Williamson, number 27. Blitz is on, so it's single. DeBerg saw that, saw an open man right there, and just pulled up and threw a bullet in.
Giles has had 50 catches 2 times in his career already, and used to make a habit out of taking Dallas secondaries apart. DeBerg found him at the right time. This ball game is far from over. Crowd very quiet. O'Reary now for the extra point. DeBerg's hold. Ooh, it's a low skull shot that's good. That's called a hooded 2-iron. McKay knows what that's all about. What a touchdown, though. It's 14-10. Tina Turner.
I tell you, Tampa's got to have a good kickoff, a good deep kickoff, and cover well, because 49 seconds, 1 timeout for the 49ers. For Joe Montana in this situation, that's time enough.
Now remember, O'Reary is a soccer player of top echelon from Clemson, a Nigerian native. He may, would you onside kick here and try to get your hands back on the ball? You'd go ahead and bang it, huh? Yeah. Oh, he did just what you said, Wayne. Harmon at the 7-yard line. Harmon at the 30-yard line breaks out to the 43-yard line. A fumble for the ball. Let's see what the fight was for. And Tampa Bay does get another chance.
Tampa Bay's got it. Now they got plenty of time. There's still 40 seconds left on the clock, and they have 2 timeouts.
Carroll made that recovery. Harmon had a good hole. The wedge brought him out and cleared him at the 30-yard line.
Boy, you know how fast the things change. It looks right here like the 49ers in good shape. A good return here by Harmon. He breaks it up now. Let's see if we can see who got the ball out of there. Looked like a hit by a couple people. From behind, it was Craig Curry who they just picked up on waivers.
And Harmon doing what you're supposed to do, transferred it to the right arm so he could protect it and then lost it. Tell you, Tampa Bay wants to win one on the road on real grass. 1st and 10. DeBerg. Outside. Away from Carter. Oh, I believe that was Kevin House making the diving try over there. The tight end cleared and was rather open down the middle, but DeBerg decided to go to the outside.
Good job of coverage by Mario Clark on him.
Kevin House with sprinter speed out of Southern Illinois. Somebody said that he would have been the fastest player ever at SIU if it hadn't have been for Ivory Crockett.
Look at, they've got their nickel defense in now. Of course, the 49ers, Dean's in there. Jeff Stover's in there, number 72, and he's a story. He had a knee operation 10 weeks ago, and he's back playing again, and it was serious knee operation.
That's some rush line. How he got back in the season, we do not know. Dean goes inside. The throw off balance. Oh, what a great try by Gerald Carter. And DeBerg had to throw that one in a hurry as Fred Dean took the inside and almost made it.
All kinds of stunning and things going on now by the 49ers up front. And let's look at Jeff Stover, number 72. See him right here, a little stunt right there. Dwayne Boer goes down in. Stover comes back out. Stover did not play college football. He was a shot putter at Oregon. Wanted to try out with the 49ers and got it. 275 pounds. He was hurt against the Lions in the first game and had ligament surgery.
I've never heard of anybody coming back
in 10 weeks.
Ligament, that's not the arthroscope. This is surgery we're talking about. He's playing well today. DeBerg back on 3rd down and 10, being chased, almost sacked, and the ball is taken by Gerald Carter. Carter still on his feet to the 35-yard line. What a gutsy run by Gerald Carter after the catch, and a great throw by DeBerg.
Big Hands Johnson almost had a sack. DeBerg unloaded right at the minute. Then it looked like Hicks was going to have an interception, and Carter got the ball back from him.
A 17-yard reception and a tough run by Carter afterward. Well, McKay said they were going to play a good game today, and he's right. Great college football coming your way Thanksgiving weekend on CBS Sports. Friday at 2:30 Eastern Time, the Heisman Trophy candidate Doug Flutie leads Boston College against Bernie Kosar. Boy, he's a good-looking quarterback in the Miami Hurricanes. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame renew their great rivalry with the Rose Bowl-bound Trojans of SC. 2 outstanding matchups Thanksgiving weekend here on CBS Sports.
Boy, contrasting styles in that BC-Miami game. Flutie, 5'9", runs all over the place, and Kosar, who stands back there in the pocket at about 6'6". What do we got here? Eric Wright reaching in, got the face mask inadvertently. Let's go, wasn't called.
Well, when you play defense, you take what you can grab.
Right.
If there's anything there, take a hold of it.
Yeah.
DeBerg over checking with John McKay.
I had my finger in an ear hole.
And that was during warm-ups. 17 seconds before halftime. Tampa Bay just took the last kickoff after a score and went right down, and Giles took a touchdown pass from DeBerg. And now after the fumble recovery of Harmon's fumble on the kickoff return, Tampa Bay's knocking again. 17 seconds. Our director Dumphy has the clock right there so you can watch as we watch. DeBerg with 2 backs, a pro set they call it. The rush is on. Dean may have left early. He gets the sack, but the flags are down. Hold the phone.
Someone was offsides on the 49ers. It looked like it may have been inside. Whether they were drawn or not, we'll have to wait and see. DeBerg says no.
I know one thing. Fred Dean gets your attention. Everybody makes sure they know where he is when they come out of the huddle.
See that last rush?
72 defense, first down.
It was on Stover, 72, who is playing the tackle spot over on the left side. the left side over there, and you'll see somebody move and jump in there, and that'll be number 72, Stover. Right there he goes, and he's across, but
Dean was coming out too.
Dean came a little bit early too, but I think he may have been legal.
Looked like the Olympic trial. 1st and 5, 11 seconds left. DeBerg rushed and overthrows number 87, Carter. Boy, the rush was on. Dean came. Ellison looked like moved in, or not, number 90 came across. Todd Shell. He's got a lot of speed for a linebacker, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He was their #1 draft choice out of BYU. He and Dean over here, a little game going. Dean comes inside. Shell comes in on a blitz. I tell you, Ron Heller, that young rookie tackle, is getting an introduction today with number 74, Fred Dean. And John McKay said that Heller is going to be a great one. He's an ideal tackle. That's what he says about him. He's got great maneuverability in his feet and everything like that, and he's going to need it for the rest this afternoon.
A big Penn Stater. He and Sean Farrell are on the right side together. Now Ariri will be trying a field goal. We'll see where they place it down now. There are 8 seconds on the clock here at Candlestick. And a 14-10 ball game. San Francisco over Tampa Bay. Ball is on the 30. Don't forget the NFL doubleheader next Sunday. A doubleheader on CBS All-Stars with the NFL today, of course. That's 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific Time. Then most of you will see the LA Rams in Tampa Bay. That's Dickerson, had 132 yards rushing today. He needs 562 to get to O.J. Simpson's single-season rushing record. A little bit early to be talking about that, but those of you in Boston will see the Eagles and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Atlanta area will get the Falcons against the Bengals. In the second game, San Francisco goes against New Orleans, or the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. A doubleheader next Sunday here on CBS. When Eric Dickerson played San Francisco, he got like 40-something yards on 25 carries. They put those safety men up there and made it tough. Here is Ariri's try will be from the 37, so it's a 47-yard field goal attempt. It's going to be just to the right side. It may have been long enough, but it was just off to the right side.
Well, the 49ers will get a snap off. 3 seconds left in this one.
Don't forget at halftime, the scores and highlights from all the action with Brent Nerr back from the studio. You see the highlights. We sit right here with you so that we get to catch up and have higher information up to date for the second half. You're looking at young Ariri, a young man that came from Nigeria, at Clemson, the best kicker in the country, played soccer, and he's checking the windage again because he'll get another shot. Only 3 seconds left before we take the hiatus. Tyler, he never takes one. Out to the 42. That will be the last play of the first half. We got a good football game. San Francisco 14, Tampa Bay 10 at half. It's nice to have a close one coming in here because the 4-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers look like a team that's trying to prove to perhaps the new coach, whoever takes over for Mr. Culverhouse and John McKay, that they deserve to play football. Sometimes that can turn a team on to prove to the new guys.
I think so. I like the game. I would have liked the game anyway, even if they hadn't, if DeBerg hadn't thrown the touchdown or they hadn't scored right at the end, because it's been a good, tough game, good, hard-hitting game, and we've seen a lot of everything. Good running by Wilder and some good passing. So it's been an interesting game.
DeBerg is 14 of 24 for 190 yards, 1 touchdown pass, the 9-yarder to Giles. And Montana's numbers are funny. There are no touchdown passes, but he's 14 of 17.
14 of 16 or something like that. 14 of 17, only missed a couple, and that's his MO, isn't it?
But the thing here is we're going to show you some highlights that Tampa Bay did come on this road trip to win their first road game of the season.
This is the first 49er touchdown, a 2-yard run here by Roger Craig with good blocks out in front by Tyler and Ayers. 7-0, this made it in the second quarter. All the scoring, and we played a scoreless first quarter. Now the second touchdown by the 49ers, a little trickery here. Fake to Craig over the middle, and they hand it to Solomon on an end around, a reverse, whatever you want to call it, and he gets in untouched. This made it 14-3. Tampa had sandwiched a field goal by Ariri in between those 2 touchdowns. But then Tampa Bay came back and made it close. The third touchdown. This makes it 14-10 to Berg. Picked apart a 49er blitz. Found Jimmy Giles in the end zone. Pulled up and zinged it in there to him. And that's where we stand right now.
Boy, earlier he had thrown a real good pass to Carter down the right sideline. To Berg with a very strong arm. And he's getting better pass protection probably against the Fred Dean and company that we expected. Huh?
They've been working real hard against Fred Dean. You know, they said that they'd bring the young kid Heller over and try to help him out as much as possible, and that's been the case. They've kept it back in there a couple times and then tried to help him with the guard, but he's a handful, and we'll see a lot of that, I know.
Okay, so the 49ers know they have their hands full, and Tampa Bay knows they're in it. Let's look at the other score. Kickoff for Tampa Bay. And San Francisco needs the ball and needs to get something on the board to discourage this team. That's Monroe. Kyle Monroe. He fumbled, gets out to the 30-yard line. He fumbled that last return in the second quarter, and Tampa Bay really took advantage of it. Here's some numbers on what happened before. First downs, rushing yards. By the way, Wilder had 50 carries on 50 yards on 11 carries for Tampa Bay.
Total yards is the factor right there. Look at it, 240 to 238, and that just points out how close the game is.
Turnovers, 2 and 3. As you know, the 49ers are a frugal team, but they've turned it over, by golly, 3 times. Tampa Bay knocks that ball around. Early action here in this second half. The first play is a drop back by Montana, and Ronaldo Diamaya. Does he make the catch out of bounds, or is he inbounds? Let's see. They call it a catch.
They're spotting it
at the Tampa Bay 48, and McKay and company don't like it on that sideline.
Well, that's that area that Nehemiah likes. They respect his speed. They cushion him a little, and he runs this kind of 15, 18-yard pattern. One foot's in, and he drug the other one before he went out. He's learned a few steps.
22-yarder.
You betcha. Advancing as a receiver. Now watch his right foot come down and scrape the other one in.
Yep. And you've got to give him room. He runs the high hurdles in 11.9 or some incredible number. You got to use the buffer. Here's the misdirection. Fake by Montana. He now gets a lot of time being chased by Cannon. Montana runs out of bounds at the 47. Smart move by the quarterback. Cannon was bearing down on him as he faked that misdirection play action and froze everybody.
It's such a big responsibility for defensive ends when you play Montana to keep your containment, stay outside, don't let him out of the pocket, but he moves around so much inside there. He'll start up the middle like he did that time, and Cannon almost took one step too far in there with him, and then Montana darted back out.
You have noted before, he's the fastest reader. If the hot guy is closed, he goes to second and third faster than probably anybody we know. Just into Tampa territory from the 47. Play action on second down. Montana drills it. This was out of bounds. It was caught, but OB. Freddie Solomon.
I'll tell you one thing, though. It was a hell of an effort.
All right. Photographer is giving his editorial comment. It was a hell of a try, I guess.
Watch it here now. Montana got a little pressure right at the end. And he looks over here. He wants to go to Solomon. Somebody got some penetration. Got a hand up. See that? That was Cannon, number 78. Montana had to throw it over that a little bit. And just that little bit of penetration by Cannon that time caused this. OB.
Well, they say he had enough postage, but he had the wrong address on it, huh? Third down and almost 10 yards. Montana drills this to the 41-yard line. That's Mike Wilson's first catch of the day. Short of the first down.
The rush by Leroy Selman this time. Montana got rid of it extremely fast, and he had to. Selman and Bubba Paris outside rush, and he's around immediately, and he's yelling to beat heck right now that Paris is holding him, and I think he's got a legitimate gripe on that one.
That's a big load holding on to you, too.
Yeah.
Paris weighs 300. Runninger's first punt, trying for the corner. Gets it into the end zone. Tampa Bay will start at the 20. Runniger has only punted 35 times before today, which shows you how well the offense has been clicking.
That's like reading a break on a long downhiller there as that one was bouncing around.
Tampa Bay holds. 13:53 left in the third. It's 14-10 San Francisco. Walker, the Candlestick Park crowd, 61,000 plus, but a little quiet right now. Tampa Bay with a little what they call momentum. The toss back to Wilder. His first run of the second half. He is hit hard. gets to barely the 20-yard line. Mario Clark showed very early.
Made a great play because they had Jerry Bell, the tight end, 82. Watch him. He's in motion. He's going to try to block Mario Clark. He beat that block. He gets across and makes a hit behind the line of scrimmage. Great defensive play.
Mario's in there because Ronnie Lott has an injury, and they've had to reshift. Lott got
separated shoulder
on a tremendous tackle on Wilder in that first quarter action. We have not seen Ronnie Lott back in action since. Carter's in motion. This is DeBerg. He's rushed, but he throws a strike. Bell has it at the 39-yard line. He's 6'5", 230. Gardner DeBerg looks like he has a pretty good game plan he's worked out with Boyd Dowler for the second half.
This is a bullet he threw in. Good protection this time. Bell, third-year player out of Arizona State, a big target, 6'5", 230, goes down there and just hooks up in between the linebacker and the defensive back out there, Eric Wright, and DeBerg found the hole.
Kevin House comes to the bottom of your screen, to the left. Giles is the tight end. Single back is a fellow named Wilder. He gets the misdirection. Look out. James Wilder into San Francisco territory, dragging people to the 45-yard line.
Dwight Hicks had to make a decision there whether he wanted him head on or whether he wanted to get on the corner of him a little bit. And discretion is sometimes the better part of valor.
I heard it by the grapevine, right?
Watch this. Good block. Corson, 72, and the big tackle Sanders out in front. Wilder cuts it in on number 22 here. How do I want him? Any way I can get him, I guess.
225, 2 1/4. The big running back, and of course Hicks is going at 192 pounds. 1st and 10. Tampa Bay on the move. The drive off the left side. Not much room for Wilder this time. Good defense. Maybe a yard, and stacked up rather rudely. Dwayne Board in there.
So just some fine Dwayne Board play in the first half where he did basically the same thing. That whole line right there. Reynolds is in there. Tuiasosopo, the nose tackle. They stood everyone up along with Dwayne Board and just stuffed that run.
Anticipating pass right now. DeBerg's numbers against this defense, you're looking at one of the great defensive players in Board. DeBerg is 15 of 25 for 209, 2 interceptions. But right now he seems to have some ginger. They're moving. He took over in the 3rd game. Thompson became the 2nd quarterback, and DeBerg became the man. 2nd down and 9. Time is gone. 30-second clock.
Not sure it was that. Looks like somebody started a little early too. They might have their choice.
Being marked off against Tampa Bay. Let's hear it. Clock is running again. It must have been the clock running out. We did not get a voice on that from the officials, which is fine with me. It's 14-10 San Francisco over Tampa Bay, and this is John McKay's last season. He says he's got a good squad. 2nd down and 15 on a 49.5. Outside quickly, intended for Carter.
Good play.
Mario Clark hit him just as the ball went by.
Good play. Best play you can make as a defensive back is get there just as the ball arrives on this kind of pattern, and that's exactly what Mario Clark did. Carter with an outside move. And right there to take it away was Mario Clark. Pressed into service because, as Rookie mentioned, Ronnie Lott hurt the very first play of this game, making a hit on James Wilder up the middle.
49ers are deep, particularly in those skilled positions. Here's a big 3rd down play if you're people that like to keep track of it. 3rd and 15, just in San Francisco territory. The rush is on. DeBerg. Oh my gosh. He hits Carter coming across the middle. Carter holds on, but short of the 1st down at the 40. And Hicks unloaded.
DeBerg told us last night when we talked to him that Carter will hold on and will take the hits over the middle, and he took a good one that time. Big Hands Johnson, number 97. DeBerg on the drop right here. Feels the pressure, has got to get out of there. Number 97's right on his heels. He throws back across. Pretty good throw by DeBerg, going one way, throwing back the other. And then that's Hicks again, number 22, who's been all over the field today, welcoming himself back to the free safety spot.
Garcia's first punt of the day. He's had 10 inside the 20 so far this season. Let's see what's... Ooh, this was a good kick. It took a diagonal bounce out there, and you can see the official marking that at the 8-yard line. Boy, Tampa Bay took the trip to the West Coast. Looked like they meant to do a job. It's 14-10.
Willenow did a good job on sealing Jeff Davis, number 58, from getting over in on the flow, and that created the hole there.
Looked like Paris did a pretty good job on Leroy Selman. Got him on the deck, huh? The numbers on Craig, 32 yards on 7 carries. 1st and 10 out right on the 20. The toss back to Craig. Getting the running action just over the 21. 9:34 left in the 3rd period.
Good job by a tough guy on that play. Mark Cotton, the strong safety, the left safety for Tampa Bay, came up that time and took on... It was double tight end situation for the 49ers, and he took them both down.
One of the original Tampa Bay Bucks. Back in '76, they got an allocation. And
yeah, he's the only one that came in the allocation draft that is still with the team.
Quite a player. Mr. Steady, 2nd down. Call it 9.5. Montana across the middle. Good Solomon catch at the 34. Courtney drives him back to the 33. 88's quite a little receiver coming across that middle.
Extremely quick when he makes his move inside. One of the reasons that was open is that Roger Craig ran a pattern out in the flat, a shallow pattern out in the flat, and that took the linebacker with him.
Oh, don't forget, Wayne, this Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, NFL football on CBS. It starts with the NFL Today at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Then the Green Bay Packers meet your old Detroit Lions in that traditional Thanksgiving Day football game right here on CBS. Montana back, has Clark to the 47-yard line with a lunge. Scott Brantley hanging on at that point.
That's the 49er game plan. We told you going into this thing. Worked a short passing game. Clark gets an inside release. Now watch him. He's checking that linebacker right there. I'm not going any further in this. It's a zone. I'm going to hook up right in between them, and Joe will find me, and he did.
Pretty clever the way they had Monroe in there as a back and got Brantley's attention and then slip it to the big end, huh?
Dwight Clark has averaged 74 catches a year since he's been with the 49ers, a 10th draft choice.
And deceptive speed. At least that's what all the DBs tell us. 1st and 10 for San Francisco. It looks like they get the drive going. Wendell Tyler against the grain to the Tampa Bay 43-yard line. Mr. Cutback.
You bet. That's a sweep. That is a sweep. That is supposed to get to the sideline and turn it up, and Wendell cut it clear back, basically almost over the right guard spot by the time he was through.
Worked on the weights in the offseason, so he's a stronger runner, and he's well over 200 pounds now, and he is a stronger looking runner this year. 6-yard gain per play average.
I shake my head as an old defensive player looking at that. That would be frustrating to play against. I always wanted an offense like that for the team I played with. 2nd down and inches. And Wendell Tyler gets belted by Jeff Davis and barely does get that 1st down. Belted is right. Davis wasn't thought too highly of coming out of college, out of Clemson. He was a number 5 draft choice, and really it's because of his height. He barely makes 6 foot. He's listed at 6 foot, but he barely makes that if he does. But Herschel Walker, he played against Herschel Walker in college, and he said of the 3 times that Herschel Walker fumbled, 2 of them were off hits by Jeff Davis.
I've always wondered why you had to be a certain height and weight or something anyway. Sometimes the intestinal measurement is what really makes you a great player.
You name another inside linebacker. As you see, they make the 1st down. That's playing good right now is Singletary for the Bears, and he's about the same size as Jeff Davis. They're like bookends.
McKay not dismayed, but the 1st down by the length of a ball was made by San Francisco. 49ers now trying to assume control that they had for a while in the 2nd quarter. 1st and 10 handoff to Craig. Away from Leroy Selman. Craig is on his way inside the 20 to the 14-yard line. And Leroy Selman almost had him for a loss.
This is the reason right here why everyone says the 49ers are better than they were, much better than in '81. They've got 2 running backs now. Wendell Tyler and this guy Roger Craig. Selman almost had him in the end zone, had his arm in the backfield with his arms around him, but look at his speed. He found a seam right there and just busted up through it until Courtney number 33 got over.
27-yard burst by the man you see right there, and the crowd reacting. They've been quiet a little bit because Tampa Bay came back and got oh so close for a while. Now the 49ers are driving. 5:40 on the clock. That's the third period. Tyler, hard inside running. Wendell to the 5-yard line. And holding on to the ball to make sure.
That added power that you talked about that he has. He put on about 10 pounds between seasons, and he says, I'm just a lot stronger than I've ever been. They've talked to him about being a little bit more conscious with the ball, especially when you're down in this part of the field. And he's doing that too. Now, he's had 2 fumbles in this game, but he has not hurt the 49ers this year at all with his fumbling. And last year, a couple, 3 or 4 times he did.
Approaching 1,000 yards rushing. He's done it 3 times before, but this would be a big year. 5:04, 14-10 game. The toss back to Craig. Craig gets a good block on the outside. Awfully close to the end zone, but he didn't get over the line. Jeff Davis straightened him up there.
Craig and Tyler, they complemented one and the other. They complement each other back there. Watch the block by Tyler, number 26 there, blocking for his running mate, Craig. Look at this on 23 Castile. That is a good hit.
Short of the line. Jeff Davis putting the shoulder pads on. It is less than a foot away. The 9th play of this drive by San Francisco. They're like an orchestra. Tyler goes down, gets close. I don't see any arms yet. Now I see the touchdown sign. Tom Dooley has his hands up. That's Fonches on the right of John McKay, his assistant. Some people think he might be the head coach.
So many backs dive over the top. Wendell Tyler does a lot too, but watch this. They're expecting him to go up. See the linebackers up there leaping and the defensive backs trying to hit him high. He slid down through a mouse hole.
Down and under rather than up and over. Montana hauls it, and Wergy continues his consecutive extra point streak.
Watch the guys in white go up on top here to try to prevent this, okay? And Wendell's down there low.
The 88th consecutive extra point in regular season by Mo Wergy, and McKay doesn't like it. It's 21-10. What a player. Back from a fumble to have 58 yards now and 11 carries. And that indefinite lead that he gave the 49ers may count. This is Bright, Leon Bright in the end zone, 2 yards deep, brings it out. Now he's crawling at the 17-yard line. 3:54 left before this third quarter is history. And Tampa Bay refuses to back off. Bill Walsh knew it was going to be a tough day. It is. For 61,000, they don't have no-shows. And there are a lot of great football fans in this country, but I think this area has some that are solid. A lot of time left in the football game. DeBerg rolling out with number 46, Armstrong, the fullback. Edger Armstrong for a first down. And as we've said before, John McKay said, we're not afraid of any team personnel-wise. We can tee it up and play with anybody.
No, that's true. I asked him, you know, what does your team need? What do you think the coach that's going to be coming in next year, what things will he be looking for to improve with? And what can you get him? And he said, well, you know, maybe one more defensive lineman, but he said, I really think that you can win with the people we have here. He said they're good people, and they've only been about just a few points away from being 7-3 now.
He'll be a good president to work with for some coach. The misdirection to Wilder. Wilder up over the top. Boy, he doesn't get much. Maybe to the 30-yard line. Let's go to New York City now on an NFL update. Brent, you got it.
Rookie and Wayne, it continues for John Elway of the Broncos. Here is touchdown pass number 5 against Minnesota. He just rips the ball in there to Steve Watson, and what a day he's having. Let's go back to Brookie.
And Brent, in Denver, they still think, but they're not sure if Elway can play or not. He is 16 of 19 today, 218 yards, and 5 markers, 5 touchdown passes.
Pretty happy for his dad yesterday, too, who coach at Stanford, won the big game out here, beat Cal, his first year at Stanford. Family celebrating this weekend.
That's a fun traditional thing on the West Coast, though, isn't it? Cal and Stanford, huh? Joe Cat, a great player we used to know and a great coach at Cal, too. Second down and 10. The flag is down. He used the clock up. DeBerg now, twice, has lost the 30-second clock.
Well, I tell you, I don't think there's any question, Berkey, we'll hear the call. I don't think there's any question, though, that Steve DeBerg is an improved quarterback and been improving every year. He said he's a better quarterback than he was when he was at Denver, and when he was at Denver, he was a better quarterback than he was when he was here. And, you know, Bill Walsh had a lot of respect for him, and he said that, you know, when Steve was here, we had very little support for him. We had really, you know, one other player on offense that could help him much, and that was Paul Hofer, the running back, and he got hurt. He said that his command of the game is better, and he got one of the great touches in all of pro football when he throws it.
Well said. He said it was sort of tough playing in his hometown, though, in San Francisco. When you go up down the road, people sort of pre-read you too much. Second down and 15. DeBerg being chased. Somehow gets it to Giles at the 30. And the Giant from Greenville, Mississippi, hangs on to it.
With Todd Shell and Carlton Williamson, Dwight Hicks, all over Giles, and somehow DeBerg got it in there and gunned it.
And he can run through your secondary and swat them down like flies. Williamson making that stop. And now it's third down. This is when that nickel defense and the big pass rush pay off for San Francisco. Third down and 8. On the 30. DeBerg. Big pass rush. Big Hands Johnson gets through there, but somehow Carter makes the reception at the 44.
Watch Fred Dean. They doubled up on him this time. Watch the back come up now as he works on Heller. Bang, take that. And Big Hands Johnson gets an inside release and put the pressure on DeBerg.
The San Diego connection has paid off. McVay and the people in the front office keep picking up players from the Chargers that have a lot left. Dean, Shields, Big Hands Johnson, Culture, Mo Worsian at one time, right? First down, a tough, good first down picked up that time by Tampa Bay. Fumble by Wilder. Let's see if he recovered his own fumble. He was trying to hand it off on a reverse.
Yes, he was. It's going to be a reverse. That's what he's talking about, his wonder team. I wonder what they'll do next. Watch it here. The toss to number 32, James Wilder. And he wants to make it look like a run, but he can't get a handle on it because he wants to hand it off. Right there you see number 83, Theo Bell, who's going to come back and take it on a reverse.
One of the hardest moves in football is to recover a fumble and not have it come up out of an armpit or something. Show up again. Second down and long. Second down and 15. DeBerg. Outside. Is it a catch?
I think they'll have to call it a catch. Won't they? No, they won't. I thought they'd have to call a catch because he probably would have come down if Mario Clark hadn't hit him and knocked him out. But they're going to call it incompletion out of bounds.
Mario, looking back into that sun, played it about as closely as you could and not be detected.
You'd be the judge right here, right? And it was a long way across the field from us, but the thing to keep in mind is, would Kevin House been in bounds if Mario Clark doesn't hit him and assist him out?
That's a close call.
Yeah. I think, Ricky, that if it would have taken place, well, what can I say?
Pretty close, but that's the way pro football is. This is a large play indeed. Third down and 15, and Big Hands Johnson has DeBerg.
Big Hands Johnson playing inspired.
Start offense.
That's the last play of the third period. With the score, San Francisco 21, Tampa Bay 10. We now pause for a word from your local station. For the third period, so we'll play that one off. I know we can come back from outer space with satellites and all, but somehow the officials got the clock fouled up. So we got 6 seconds left in period number 3. And Tampa Bay has the ball, third down and 21. That's a lot. Look out, pass rush. No shotgun, just up under the center is DeBerg. He is in there, but he's handled. DeBerg. A jumping try by Theo Bell.
They threw a flag over there too, Brookie.
A late flag at the 41 of San Francisco.
No, you're not going to like that call, being an old defensive back.
It used to be a free ball that neither team had it when it was in the air. I don't believe it's interpreted that way any longer.
Well, 3rd and 21, and you get a call like that when you play pretty good defense. You can see Dwight Hicks, he's the ringleader out there, and Carlton Williamson, 27. Well, he's not smiling, he's grimacing.
Dooley made the motion. The fans tell you not that story, just their own personal one today. Theo Bell went up for the ball. Carlton Williamson and Hicks went after him. Here it is.
Defensive pass interference. 26 defense. First down.
26? They don't have a 26 out there. Did he say?
Must be Mario Clark, but there is no 26 unless the guy has dyslexia and that number's upside down.
Here it is right here. Hand on him right there. Boy, I don't know. Looks like good defense to me.
They probably thought number 29.
Yeah.
That should have been the last play of the 3rd period. But we don't want to assume anything. Don't forget, next Sunday, the big CBS doubleheader starts with the NFL today. That's 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific Time. Then most of you will see the Los Angeles Rams and Tampa Bay. Eric Dickerson had 132 today and is trying to get to O.J. Simpson's single-season rushing record. Those of you in the Boston area will see the Eagles play the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Atlanta area will get the Falcons against the Bengals. In that second game, San Francisco against New Orleans, or the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. You know, I'm trying to figure out how Tampa Bay is a 4-7 ball club in that division. They look to me like they've got a good football team.
Yeah, they do. And the 49ers, of course, got to keep it on the roll here. As we mentioned at the top of the telecast, they're going for the home field advantage. They'd like to play all their playoff games here and then go down the road about 30 miles and play the big one, Super Bowl 19 at Palo Alto.
Remember, McKay's team lost Hugh Green, whom I think is one of the outstanding linebackers. I mean, a lot of people tell you Lawrence Taylor, but Hugh Green knows how to play technique and is still a game breaker as a linebacker, and he was hurt in an automobile wreck rather seriously the first week in October. They're going to try to get him back for the last 3 or 4 games anyway, and you cannot replace Hugh Green. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay at the San Francisco 42. The toss and the reverse. This time the handoff. It's a flea flicker to DeBerg. He's being chased out. Now DeBerg is going deep. Intercepted or caught. It's called incomplete. Kevin House made a jump for it. Mario Clark was in there too, I believe, and Dwight Hicks.
49ers had it well covered. There was not anyone open at all on this play. Flea flicker off the reverse, but DeBerg's going to like to throw it anyway, and I really don't know why. After getting a break like that on the penalty call that they got, and this being first down still, you know, you've got some more chances at it. Why throw a risk like this? I mean, that is just throwing it up for grabs.
Did you see Manu Tuiasosopo? He went around. It looked like he went over the reef and back again. He went by DeBerg twice.
And here's what the intended receiver, Kevin House, is doing. Eric Wright, number 21, right with him. He's never open. Look at, he's getting help over here now from the free safety. And you tell me why the ball was thrown.
House did a heck of a job just keeping the ball from being intercepted. Quick action, quick outside pass to House on the outside. DeBerg coming back with what Wayne Walker said probably should have been done before, an 11-yard short pass.
Well, I'm not saying they should have thrown an 11-yard pass. They just shouldn't have thrown it down there and taken a chance of not being able to even throw this one. You've got to keep the football in situations like that.
They're getting ready to move the sticks.
And DeBerg has made some great decisions today, some great reads, but one ball he had intercepted he shouldn't have thrown, and that one right there, the playoffs of flea flicker was another one he shouldn't have thrown.
Kevin House is some receiver. He is showing me a tremendous improvement in his first couple of years. 1st and 10 call. The drive play to Wilder. James Wilder heading for the open territory, dragging people to the 12-yard line.
Well, he got some good blocks that time. Adger Armstrong and Steve Corson out in front, and they did something that you don't see a lot of. They got Keena Turner and got him hooked inside, and Turner couldn't string it out and got Wilder around the corner.
Wilder quieting 61,000 rabid fans with an 18-yard burst.
Check it out. Check the people in front. Corson 72. The tackle comes over and seals, and watch the block that he's getting right here on the linebacker right there. And a good kick-out block on the defensive back by Edger Armstrong, and Wilder had his alley.
That Corson used to play with the Steelers, and Noel said he might be the best athlete he ever had. First down and 10. Not much, just inside the 10. Reynolds comes under and stops it up. 13 minutes left, over 13 left in this ball game.
But Hacksaw, you've seen him, less and less out there on the field for the 49ers. As he comes off now, they'll send in young Jim Fonhorst, number 55, younger brother of Keith. But for Hacksaw, when it's a 1st and 10 situation or a running situation, they want him in there. He's making more than cameo appearances, but his playing time is dropping off more and more as the season progresses.
Second down and 7 at the 9-yard line. DeBerg looking quickly, slant pattern, touchdown. Gerald Carter walks into the end zone, a perfect throw by DeBerg, and we've got ourselves a new football game.
Well, Tom, as we talked about earlier, as Bill Walsh is pretty angry with the headsets right there, as you can tell, is that Steve DeBerg, the 49ers, thought that he gets a pre-snap read, and I think he had one that time. I think he knew exactly what defense the 49ers were going to be in once the ball was snapped by their positioning on the field, because after the ball was snapped, he looked right at Carter, didn't look to anyone else, stared him down. Carter came open, and DeBerg got the ball to him in great style.
The Texas Aggie Carter has 9 catches, 166 yards, and that was his 5th touchdown catch of the year. What a day. What a year. Herrera out of DeBerg's hole for the extra point. This one's good. A 4-point spread. But remember, San Francisco, they're not thinking wild card. They want to win this game and steam into the final part of the season.
Now check Steve DeBerg right here. Sees head and eyes. He's not looking anywhere else. He wanted it right there to Carter, and he wanted it right from the snap of the ball. Look at him right here. You'll get an excellent shot at it. Look at him. Just staring him down. He knew he was going to get single coverage over here because of the alignment. I think he smelled the blitz, and he got to 6 points, and we've got a 21-17 ball game with 12:39 left to go.
And this is going to be a bitter 12 minutes and 39 seconds.
And I want to tell the people that the skinny one here is the ex-linebacker.
Yeah, is that amazing? I outweigh you, and you used to play at 230. A good football game. Herrera now will kick off. Monroe and Harmon. Dangerous return people for San Francisco. This crowd senses this is going to be a nail-biter. This is a high kick and short. Monroe at the 10. Monroe gets out and heading for the 30-yard line. Almost gets back to the right sideline and out to the 32. Crowd began to hum.
Well, I tell you, they're flying around out there, too. There were some good socks on that special team.
The scoring drive, a work of beauty, 11 plays to go 83 yards. DeBerg to Carter, a 9-yard TD pass, and Steve DeBerg is having quite a homecoming.
He is, and it was a thing of beauty because that ball wasn't intercepted in the end zone off the flea flicker.
First and 10, Montana putting Solomon in motion. Ball is on the 33 car. Wendell Tyler getting in and out, breaks out in the open. Tyler pulled down at the 43-yard line of Tampa Bay by Leroy Selman.
Mentioned James Wilder as being a slasher. This guy's a slasher also. A little misdirection right there. They bent Roger Craig run one way, but they pulled a couple linemen the other behind Big Bubba Paris, and he has an alley. No one's going to catch him but Selman does coming across from behind.
Tyler with 83 carries, 83 yards on 12 carries, is 6 yards away from 1,000. Straight ahead goes Craig. The one thing you cannot take for granted playing San Francisco is that you've shut everything down, because it seems to spurt and people start coming at you from different directions. Don't forget Thanksgiving Day. It all starts with the NFL Today. That features 2 of the former Packer stars, Willie Davis and Max McGee. Both were with those great Lombardi teams in the 60s and have become very successful business people. That all starts at noon on Thanksgiving Day. Hey, getting good at tacklers. Down to the 25-yard line. Beasley Reese making the stop there, the former Giant.
San Francisco offensive line, great surge, really controlling things. 77 is Paris. He's on Selman, has him tied up enough where he just kind of got an arm tackle on Craig, and Craig ran right through it.
Craig's a high-stepping, harder runner and stronger than I think people think. He ran through Leroy Selman's arms, And very few have lived to do that. 1st and 10 from the 25. Tyler back in there takes the handoff. Stacked up for a loss. Good play out at the 28-yard line. Keith Browner. Slow getting up is Beasley Reese, holding that left arm. Beasley playing extremely well, at least against the Giants, the tapes I looked at. New life in Tampa Bay.
8 interceptions last year after they picked him up. Led the team.
Good team player.
He once raced a horse, didn't he? Wasn't it Beasley Reese that
He beat the horse twice. It's the kind of horse I usually wager on, unfortunately. 2nd down and 12 and a half. Tyler now with a hole, sprints to the 16-yard line.
And now, perhaps with 1,000 yards for the season. There you go, scores around the league today. Houston again leading after winning for the first time last week. 24-13, they lead the Jets in the 3rd quarter. We saw that update by Brent Musburger. John Elway with a big afternoon, 42-7 Denver.
An 11-yard gain by Wendell Tyler, so he's got to be over 1,000. It's tossed back to Craig, and he's thrown for a loss to the 21. That's Washington.
And you've seen 2 young linebackers, Keith Browner on the left side and Chris Washington over to the right, make good plays here in the last couple plays. But that's the spot where they miss Hugh Green. John McKay said, you know, we're just a little young there without Hugh Green, and I think the 49ers will probably out-formation us because of those young guys will get a little confused out there at times.
The clock is running now as San Francisco is going to try to get a touchdown and put it away and use the clock up. Wergy now will try the field goal, though, from the 29, a 39-yard attempt by Wergy. Montana's the holder. You call it. Dooley calls it. And Wergy, oh, heck, that's just another kick for him. It's 24-17. Crowd reaction is becoming a standing wave. This was just going to stand for Wendell Tyler. There's his running buddy, Craig, there.
Goes over 1,000, 1,002 there, and said he's going to celebrate by hiring a limo and probably just taking him and everybody on the offensive line in it tonight, wherever they want to go.
Well, I hope there's room for us. The kickoff by Wergy, driven to the 5-yard line, is Morton, Michael Morton. Trapped before he gets out to the 20. Now keep in mind, as tempers rise, that it's a 24-17 ball game, 8:25 left. A touchdown and an Arreri extra point, and we've got a tie. Natural grass. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 0-6 on the road. All artificial surfaces that they've lost on.
You know, it's funny. This is the 6th time they've played the 49ers, and all 6 times they've been at Candlestick Park. That computer they've got back there, they're supposed to, even if the scheduling is going to circuit somewhere when it comes to Tampa Bay and San Francisco.
McKay said he's played Dallas and Texas Stadium every game, and he's always played San Francisco out here. The drop back. DeBerg with a lot of time. Dumps it. Wilder at the 25 is hit very hard by Ricky Ellison. The clock. Boy, Ellison's become some versatile linebacker, number 50.
Well, don't get in his way. He's like he's on railroad tracks. He can only go one direction. He'll hit you.
He has a hypnotic glaze, too, that linebacker look, you know, that he seems to like it. 2nd down and 5. Wilder gets cut off. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage. As Ellison filled the hole very quickly.
Yeah, he did. You think they're...
And Fawnhorse.
He's not intense. Look at those eyes right there. Moved from their inside backer positions that time, and when they pulled it, they pulled the guard. They both shot the gap and made the play inside. Is he ready? He hasn't blinked. He hasn't blinked.
Scary people, linebackers of any era. You can go back to Bednarik, Schmidt, Rutgers, Ellison.
And you're naming the nice guys.
That's right. 3rd down and 5. Big play in this ball game. The rush is on to Berg. Oh, what a catch. By, I believe it was Kevin House, a diving catch. It's going to be awfully close and maybe a first down. A sliding grab.
Take a peek right here. Timing pattern again between House and DeBerg. DeBerg said that last week was the first time that he had time to sit down and study films with House. So their thinking would be on the same page.
That's some reception.
Yeah.
Closely covered by Mario Clark. And first down by inches. Just over the 30-yard line. 6:57 on the clock at Candlestick Park. A 7-point margin. The snap, and DeBerg's back out in the flat. Wilder gets runs over the top of number 21, Eric Wright, and gets to the 42-yard line. He just high-hurdled it.
Eric ducked his head a little bit, anticipating the contact, and Wilder, with great reactions, just straddled him over the top.
Against Tampa Bay, the flag had been dropped. They're bringing it back.
Face mask, 73 offense, first down.
73 offense. It's big Ron Heller, the Penn Stater.
73 Heller working against number 79 Jim Stuckey right here. Close quarters. Can I get away with it? Nope. The camera caught me, and so the officials.
Stuckey got away with a head slap, and they caught Heller for grabbing the mask. The battle on the line of scrimmage, as you see him shift to left tackle, as Wayne Walker told you they did. First and 15. It is the pass. DeBerg with time. A catch by House over the shoulder and into San Francisco territory.
What a throw. What a throw. Oh, I'll tell you, if he doesn't have a lot of steam on that ball and have it loop perfectly, Eric Wright eats it up for an interception. Watch the job on Dean here by the youngster Heller now. He'll end up with him on the ground, using those arms, and it's a takedown.
A 27-yard completion, a beautiful throw by DeBerg, who is now 24 of 37 for 306 yards. The only person I can think that riddled San Francisco was Warren Moon, who good at the sharp passing too. This DeBerg is having some kind of an afternoon. First and 10. DeBerg going outside. Reset, the flag is down. At the 40-yard line, House is tackled. But the flag was thrown early back on the Tampa Bay 46-yard line. Looks like we may have a double foul out of this one. House may have been speared on the ground. Unsportsmanlike called against San Francisco on the tackle. And holding on the offense.
Kevin House, 89.
Holding.
Inside moving, and he pivots and slides to the sideline, makes the catch. Another good throw by DeBerg.
Offset. First down.
Just a late hit by 55 Fonhorst right here. Looks like he went in and tried to go over the top of him so he wouldn't hurt him.
Heller was detected for holding Fred Dean. As we said, the young rookies had to move to left tackle to combat Mr. Pass Rush, and that time they caught him. It's first and 10, though. Tampa Bay with new life. The safety blitz is on. DeBerg handles it, throws. The catch by Theo Bell, number 83. And Giles went over there and tried to get a block for him. There's still 6 minutes and 20-some-odd seconds in this game.
Anytime you blitz a linebacker, more than one, or a safety, you know you're going to have single coverage, and DeBerg goes right to the hot receiver on a slant-in pattern.
Williamson looked like he showed the blitz rather early that time. So
Did.
DeBerg just coolly dropped the ball. The clock is running. Tampa Bay with 3 timeouts left. 7-point deficit for the Buccaneers. DeBerg outside to Bell. Looks like a first down completion. The clock is still running. So are the Buccaneers.
They haven't made the first down signal yet.
They'll have to stop the clock just to move the sticks. So the Buccaneers will not have to use one of the timeouts. And cool, calm John McKay on the far sidelines has a pretty good game cooking for himself.
So what are you going to do when you get all that time? He said, well, just kind of ride off into the sunset with a fat wallet and a slow backswing.
He said he looked around the other day, and the only coach left coaching that was coaching when he started was Tom Landry. Everybody else is retired and gotten in the golf cart all the time.
I think Shula was there.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think he's probably talking NFC. Yeah, he had to be, because Chuck Noll would have been around also.
Carter coming in with information. DeBerg very cool under fire. Not known as a great movement quarterback. He has handled himself extremely well this afternoon against a big rush. 1st and 10. House and Carter are the wide receivers. DeBerg has his hand hit as it was coming forward. They call it an incomplete pass as Big Hands Johnson got the quarterback from behind. If he grabs you with one of those paws, you know, you could lose your jersey.
Gary Big Hands Johnson. We mentioned Louis Kelcher, Gary Johnson right there, Fred Dean and Billy Shields, who are all on the 49ers, were drafted 10 years ago by the San Diego Chargers, all in the same draft.
2nd down and 10. Dean is in. Ward is in. It looks like they're thinking pass rush. Stover's in. House and Theo Bell are receivers. DeBerg doesn't like the setup. Timeout is burned with 5 minutes on the clock. 24-17. Get situated. The late Norman Van Brocklin, my old quarterback friend and the great coach, is John McKay. Coached at Oregon before coming down and taking over SC in 1960. Look at the total offense.
The great thing about it is, you know, it's not a 44-7 type thing or a 44-40 type game. We still had some good defense and some real good hitting.
How about Eddie DiBartolo's decision to make this man his head coach in '79? He had Stanford in 2 bowls in a row. It might have been the greatest decision I've ever heard management making. 2nd down and 10. 2 backs in for Tampa Bay. Now they're out. DeBerg being raced, gets it to Weiler, but has it knocked away by Keno Turner. There's some speed at linebacker.
Keno Turner is one of the few linebackers in the league that consistently makes that play, where he's running right along with the back and can reach around and knock the ball. Look, he's in there faking a blitz, number 1. Keeping an eye on Wilder's got him man for man right here with him and reaches around and makes a play.
Number 74 was there and chases him out. That's Dean. What do you call him? What kind of a sack machine is?
Oh, they call it the sign over here. Right? They call it the lean. Fred Dean, the lean, mean, clean sack machine.
He said he likes good cars, fast, expensive cars. $500,000 a year for 4 years. He can buy a fleet.
You know, he said that, you know, that one of the reasons he kind of felt that the 49ers didn't want to pay him what he wanted is because they said that he didn't play every down. But he says, it's not my fault. I don't play every down. I'd like to.
230-pounder. This is the play. 3rd down and 10. From the 37. DeBerg being trapped and sacked. Oh, the flag is down. Flags are down. Fred Dean got the sack. Dean had DeBerg by the shoes. Holding Tampa Bay.
Dean again working against the rookie, Ron Heller. Watch the quickness. Got the leverage. Now he go down low. And on the way down, make the sack on DeBerg. Pretty good job downfield, too, because DeBerg couldn't unload anywhere. And boy, does that man make a difference. And this is really the time of the game where the 49ers wanted him back for and needed him back for the end of any ball game when the other team's moving on you and you're protecting the lead. That's when the pass rush is the most important.
It's about all this team needs is a ferocious pass rush to hit Palo Alto in January. That's what they've been trying to do. Garcia punting now. A lot of time still left. 4:40 on the clock. Being chased and it's in the end zone. San Francisco gets the ball on the 20. The first sack by San Francisco on a tough afternoon, and it was Fred Dean, who's only been in a uniform for about 2 days. It's 24-17. Tech, Fred Dean.
Didn't look like he lost much of that holdout, huh? He's still got it.
He is so quick. Young Heller's giving him everything he can. He just can't get him under control. First and 10 now. Obviously, the clock has got to be run out. That's Wendell Tyler getting over for maybe a couple of yards. This Thursday, that's Thanksgiving Day, in case you people don't know that. NFL football on CBS. It all starts with the NFL Today at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Then the Green Bay Packers meet the Detroit Lions in a Thanksgiving traditional day football game. NFL football this Thursday on CBS Sports.
I played in 15 of those Thanksgiving games in Detroit. Sometimes the turkey tasted good, and sometimes it didn't.
I'm worried about the people on Pacific Coast time that try to eat turkey at 9:30 a.m. Montana thrown back on the 13-yard line by Chris Washington, the linebacker.
It's a blitz, and he ran right over the top of a block, too. Came into the game with 4 sacks. That was second on the team behind Selman. And the youngster, the rookie out of Iowa State, made a big play for him.
Now the big call is on 3rd down and almost 15 yards. How do you keep the football? Because there's still 3:50 on the clock.
I'll tell you, Montana figure out some way to get it downfield somewhere where it's in a safe area. He just very rarely puts it up in a risk situation.
Pressure on the all-time percentage quarterback in the NFL. Throwing back, tied the receiver. It's Cooper, I believe, out over the 31. The crowd is saying, "Coop, Coop."
Got the first down by about a foot, I think.
Just what you said would happen, that Montana would find a safe place to lay the football.
Asked Coop if he put on any added poundage and being switched from fullback to tight end. He said no, weigh exactly the same, between 225 and 230.
Montana 19 of 22, 246. But this defense for Tampa Bay has pounded his receivers and played well. 3 minutes on the clock. Here's Candlestick. Great ahead run by Craig. 32-yard line, maybe.
You know, Tommy, that play that Montana made, the hookup with Cooper right there, and a situation like that where they got to control the ball to preserve this win for them. That's just the kind of play that only the champions make, that only the great players make.
And at this time of the year, all the teams begin to hit on the cylinders that they want to, and a good team really begins to hum now, don't they?
Well, they want to. This is the time of year that they want to be playing.
Remember, the Super Bowl is right down the road. Palo Alto, California. Last year it was in Tampa, where the visiting Buccaneers come from. By the way, I was reading an article that said that people that came in for the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay for Mr. Culverhouse's game dropped $87 million in the community for that long week before Super Bowl, huh? San Francisco wants it, 24-17. And Wayne Walker at Candlestick Park. 2 elderly defensive players that love the football game we've seen today. It's 24-17 and not over yet. 3rd down and 6. Montana adjusting and just missing Solomon at the 40 of Tampa Bay. Freddie played his college ball at Tampa, the college.
Once again, this guy gets open deep. A quick pattern right here by Montana and got him right away. But he ran a post pattern. Number 33 is Cotney, and the ball was overthrown maybe just an inch or two. But Freddie will come up with that ball more times than he won't.
Runniger's punt. Oh, this is a tremendous driving punt. Leon Bright driven back to the 13-yard line. Bright being hemmed in and now inhaled by a sea of red. Crowd is staying to watch. 2-minute warning now. A 54-yard punt, an 11-yard return. Holmo making the tackle for San Francisco. Don't forget, next Sunday, the doubleheader starts with the NFL Today, then the Rams against Tampa Bay, Philadelphia against St. Louis, Atlanta against Cincinnati. And then some of you will see the 49ers against New Orleans, or others will see the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. Doubleheader day on CBS next Sunday. We have college football on CBS on Friday. Got Thursday, we got Turkey Day football, Detroit and Green Bay. We're just loaded up. San Francisco 24, Tampa Bay 17, and the Buccaneers have the ball. His last season, we've heard Bart Starr's name mentioned. Wayne Fonches, his assistant coach. Schellenbarger down there, the Miami coach. He says Mr. Culverhouse, the owner, will make that decision, and John says it'll be a good one. First and 10, right now, fumble. Followed on by San Francisco at the 15-yard line. Big hands, Johnson. Turnover.
Of all times for that to happen to Tampa Bay, the Berg did not get the snap, did not get up to his hands, or he pulled away too early. And another one of those little things that prevents a team from winning ball games. Watch it right here, the center exchange. Watch the Berg's hands to see if they move before the ball gets there. He's on his way out, it looked like a little bit.
Steve Wilson's an old veteran. He's been there for the whole way since 76.
Wilson anxious to start his pass, his drop on the pass, and move his hands just enough where it was a misconnection, and the 49ers got this one in the stocking, it looks like.
Covering up the ball as Craigie fumbles, but he's been on the ground. He had both hands around the ball, and then when he hit the dirt, or in this case the real grass turf, the ball came up. Brantley making the tackle. San Francisco goes to New Orleans, then they go to Atlanta. They play Minnesota back here at Candlestick and finish off against the Los Angeles Rams. By that time, it may be academic. 120 and ticking. Montana using it up. Strike, touchdown, flags are down. 2 flags are down. One back on the 16 and one in the end zone. They could negate one another if it's holding. Tampa Bay clapping their hands, they may get another shot. A popular decision by Tom Dooley.
Illegal formation, number 77 offense. Defensive pass interference. Defense, penalties offset. Second down.
Bubba Paris, the 300-plus pounder, setting up against Leroy Selman. I don't blame him. Group of fun-loving Bay Area people. They pay their money, they enjoy it. And what an entertaining team this is. Second down 5. Wendell Tyler busting his way to the 5-yard line. Some hard running there.
The Rams losing this afternoon and the 49ers winning here. The 49ers now have clinched the playoff spot. The only thing that remains to be seen for them, whether they will end up with the best record in the NFC and be able to host a playoff game and a championship game. Would they be in that one?
You know, the amazing coaching job by Bill Walsh and Norb Hecker and Seifert and all the different people is the fact that they play so steady. And there got to be highs and lows, and this team stays about as steady as I've ever seen, and they have a lot of national attention, so their time is being used up. Somehow he manages to insert some energy into the team somewhere during the week.
Well, it does. I think it's, you know, he calls a standard of excellence that he wants them to strive for every week. The championship teams need to have, particularly when they get into the home stretch, because we've said so many times that sometimes just not making the playoffs is an important thing, but making them and playing good at that time of the year is what's the most important. That's what they were doing in 1981, and they're going to do it again here.
39 seconds, you can count it down. 3rd and inches. Tyler's at 98 yards. Montana gets the first down by about a helmet.
And they won't snap it again.
That will be enough. Most of the people there. Executive producer Terry O'Neill. We want to thank Terry for sending us this great ball game today. Charles H. Milton III, the red eye from the Western Slope. Bobby Deacus. Nobody does it better than you, Robert. Bob Dunphy capturing those pictures. Donna Miller, who counts us down in here on our headsets. Brooks Graham, the best golfer in Southern California and the great technical man. Lisa Elias, who puts the numbers up that you see, and happy birthday to you, Lisa. much younger than I. Sounds like a song, and all the people that have helped bring this signal down to Tampa Bay and other places in the country. And if you people down in Tampa don't appreciate your team fully, give them a chance. This is a good ball club, and they're strong and they're bullish, and they have a lot of fight.
I said it won't be long for Tampa Bay. When we talked to John McKay and asked him about what they needed, he said it's right here. What we need is right here.
Tampa Bay goes against the Rams, Green Bay, Atlanta, and the New York Jets. And then John McKay will oversee and run the program. He's been, at one time, I think if they had beaten Los Angeles in 1979 for the championship and gone to that Super Bowl 14, or I believe that John McKay might have gone upstairs at that time, but Mr. Culverhouse simply would not let John resign. They're good friends, and there's a lot of respect there.
What a great return to number 74 Fred Dean had this afternoon after going without contact and pads on, and I can guarantee you one thing, he will be a little bit sore tomorrow morning.
He's quite an athlete. 24-17. The crowd wanting one more play. And 1. So for Wayne Walker, this is Tom Brookshire telling you the score finally is San Francisco 24, Tampa Bay 17. Don't forget the NFL Today with a post game with Brett and Irv coming up in just a moment.
Coast will be seen there at its regularly scheduled time. The man of the hour in the National Football League is John Elway. The sensational quarterback of the Denver Broncos has just had his finest day ever. Only 2.5 minutes to go. He's 16-19, 218 yards, and Irv, he's thrown 5 touchdowns.
Here's touchdown pass number 1 to Sammy Winder early in the ball game. He was just getting warmed up.
Came on back and hit his favorite target, Steve Watson. This was a 26-yarder. Oh, can he drill the football. This time, scrambled off to the left. Receiver was covered, went back to the right. Now Watson gets himself open, and look at that rocket. He fires into the end zone, and Elway celebrated in style. Now the Broncos have won 10 games in a row. All right, the Raiders have snapped back. They're going to break that losing streak. 17-7, they lead the Chiefs. Miami and San Diego now, they're coming down to the 2-minute warning mark in that game, and the Dolphins are hanging on. They are still unbeaten. The Jets and Houston, the Oilers now have won 2 in a row. 31-13 is the score over the Jets. Tampa Bay and San Francisco, you just watched this game, 24-17, the Niners. The NFC, folks, we got a 3-way tie for the lead. Dallas, the Giants, and Washington at 7-5. The Giants beat the Cardinals today, dropped them down a notch. 16-10 was the final. Philadelphia beat Washington by the same 16-10 count, and Buffalo upset the Dallas Cowboys 14-3. Cowboys couldn't even score a touchdown. That's the first time since 1979 when Pittsburgh held them to no touchdowns. New England ran up the biggest point total of the year, 50-17. Their record's 8-4. They ran the points up because a point differential becomes a factor. They wanted the big count. Now the NFC Central, the Chicago Bears with a 3-game lead on the Green Bay Packers, but they came ever so close to losing a game today. Before, in the final seconds, the Bears had a field goal by Bob Thomas, beat the Detroit Lions 16-14. Green Bay an easy winner over the Rams, 31-6 was the final there. How about the Cleveland Browns? 11 sacks by their quarterbacks this afternoon as the Browns defeated Atlanta easily, and that one was 23-7. Seattle over Cincinnati, and now the Seahawks are still at 10-2. It was 26-6 there. And a reminder, of course, on Thanksgiving Day here on CBS, that traditional game going back to the roots of the NFL, the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. And we'll start our coverage at 12 noon Eastern. And Irv, you remember those great wars that those two teams used to have.
Yeah. Roger Brown used to say, I love playing that Thanksgiving Day game with Detroit because I like to mix the mud with the blood. There won't be any mud in the stadium.
That's right. They play it inside in the Silver Dome. But, of course, Irv is going to take a look at a couple of very special Packer legends, and that Willie Davis and Max McGee. That'll be one of the stories we'll have. Jimmy the Greek will be along with all his insights into what's going on around the league. And we will preview the second game, Dallas against New England. That's become a big one. I'm Brent Musburger for Irv Cross. So long, everybody.
and their one-game lead in the AFC West on the line against the Seahawks. Seattle controlled the game from the first play from scrimmage. Craig looking down the sideline to the Michigan State rookie Darrell Turner. Turner would make a spectacular grab and go 80 yards for the touchdown that put Seattle on top 7-0. As you will see later, Turner's big catch also set up a big day for the other Seattle wideout, Steve Largent. Slow half on offense for Denver in the first half, but with 4:53 remaining before halftime, Elway was able to throw this 19-yard touchdown pass to Butch Johnson, which tied things up at 10-10. But Seattle would untie it in the third period as Steve Largent was on his way to the most productive day of his 9-year career. This pass over the middle to Largent went for 65 yards total and set up the touchdown that made it 17-10 Seattle. Key differences in the ball game: Seattle with the ball control passing attack kept the football for 38 minutes. Denver had no pass rush and no third down conversions in the game. Nevertheless, Elway was able to get the Broncos into position to tie the game with 39 seconds remaining when barefoot kicker Rich Carlos hit the right upright from 25 yards out. It wound up 27-24 Seattle. Rematch in Seattle, December 15th. Yesterday in the Louisiana Superdome, the 49ers clinched the title in the NFC West and tuned up for the playoffs. Joe Montana got off to a slow start, missed his first 7 passes, but was patient as Wendell Tyler picked up the slack on the ground. This touchdown pass from Montana to Freddie Solomon in the third period made it 21-3 49ers. And the San Francisco defense would get its first touchdown of the year, an interception return of 53 yards by rookie linebacker Todd Shell out of Brigham Young, one of the 7 interchangeable linebackers who have been the key to the 49er defense this year. Yesterday, 8 sacks for San Francisco, 2 of them by Shell, 2 of them by Fred Dean, prompting Richard Todd to suggest that San Francisco, not Miami, is the best team in the NFL. Prior to this year, the Minnesota Vikings had owned the Chicago Bears, but now the Bears have beaten the Vikings twice on their way to their first division title since 1963. Another flawless game for pickup quarterback Steve Fuller. This 30-yard touchdown to Willie Gault made it 7-3 first period as the Bears were on their way to a rout. Singletary led the defense with 11.5 tackles. Peyton with his 8th game this year over 100 yards. You'll see the Bears next Monday night.
Okay, Dennis, you know you need to
Decided by their early block of an extra point kick, but the focus was on Eric Dickerson. 124 of those 191 yards came in the fourth quarter. This 51-yarder, his longest run of the day. Dickerson needs to average 124 yards a game over the last 3 to break in 16 games the NFL rushing record O.J. Simpson set in 14 games back in 1973. And meanwhile, Charlie Joyner and Jan Stenerud are the only 2 surviving original AFL players in the NFL. Stenerud holds a lot of kicking records, so it's fitting that yesterday Joyner broke Charlie Taylor's career receiving record with this catch, one of 6 he had on the day. The Steelers were routing the San Diego Chargers 52-24. Joyner, quite typically, was somewhat upset that he had not broken the career receiving record in a victorious effort for his ball club. Before yesterday, the Giants hadn't come from as many as 2 touchdowns down to win in the second half since 1972. So when Bill Kenny hit Carlos Carson for this 34-yard touchdown with 9:18 to go and put the Chiefs on top 27-14, it looked as though New York was about to drop out of the first place tie in the NFC East. But Phil Simms came back with a touchdown pass to Bobby Johnson. Then, with just over 2 minutes to go, this game winner to tight end Zeke Mowat. For years, the Giants have been searching for a competent tight end. Last year, they drafted 2 ahead of Mowat, signed him as a free agent. He has solved the problem. The Washington Redskins had to go most of the day yesterday without John Riggins, who didn't play after the first scoring drive. But rookie Keith Griffin filled the gap on the ground, and Joe Theismann had a terrific day in the air. Charlie Brown was back after 8 weeks out with a fractured ankle. He caught this touchdown pass that made it 24-0 Washington in the second period. And with Brown back in the lineup, Art Monk will be even harder to stop on the other side, as he demonstrated yesterday with 11 catches. You'll see the Skins Thursday night against the Vikes in Minnesota.
Tuesday.